Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Happy football season. At the next round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com. Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, e.g., that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
You can't wait for college football talk every Monday, so we don't make you wait. Ryan Brown here for The Next Round. You can catch ESPN's Tom Luganbill with Jim Dunaway on Monday Morning Live at 7 a.m. I'm with Brandon Marcello on the middle 8 at 8 after The Next Round. Hear from Alabama coach Kalen DeBoer and Auburn coach Hugh Freeze. After the coaches talk, Fox Sports analyst Brock Hewer joins Lance Taylor for Unlocked at 1 o'clock. All college football, all day Monday, anywhere you get The Next Round.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by, ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there. Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on the Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Here at the Next Round, we love our guests, especially our 2024 football regulars. Auburn and Alabama fans, we've got your guys. On Mondays at 9:25, we'll be joined by Alabama offensive lineman Tyler Booker, and Tuesdays at 9:25, we chat with Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne. Join us and rep your team.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, live show gets rolling now as we move to a Thursday ahead of week 9 in college football. Get some good ones tonight. NFL, Captain Ram over here ready to go with the Ramley tonight as they play host to the Vikings in an interesting game. We'll talk about that coming up, and just some big NFL news that continues to percolate. On a playoff implication, ACC game tonight, 5-1 Syracuse, 6-0 Pittsburgh. That could be an entertaining Thursday night game. And we've got some wild scenarios in the Stuart Mandel mailbag for an 8-way tie in the Southeastern Conference. We'll run through that real quickly here. But last night, Brownie was over at Jack State. Got to see the black uniforms, the red helmet, the AKC.
That is the AKC, yeah. Jimmy D. Yeah, it was a fun time. Enjoyed my time there. Thanks to our good friend, Bill Bubba Bussey, hosting me in his suite. Me, my wife, 2 of our friends up there. Had a good time. Saw our buddy Todd Jones, former Jack State Major League pitcher. Todd told me to tell you boys hello. Saw a lot of people up there, man. Greg Seitz, athletics director. Don Killingsworth, my classmate there at Jack State, now the school president. Got to hang out with him for a little bit.
Do you get your credit?
It was talked. It was talked about.
Have they at least heard the buzz that we've been pushing for?
Yeah,
Okay.
Dr. Killingsworth is well aware that it is a topic on the show. He laughs about that. And continues to say he's on it. So we'll see what happens. I am not the one pressuring it. I don't care one way or the other, and I have told him that I'm sure there are people that far more than me need an honorary degree.
Would you?
Everybody.
By the way, I don't even know what a diploma is.
But you don't even need an honorary degree. I mean,
what do I need?
Just it's just one class. Just
so.
I mean, you could
you
explore.
Want me to just to take the class?
Why not?
No, not you have to take it. Just you just take a multiple choice final exam. If you get a C, you get a C. And
I was talking to a friend of mine that was D's get degrees. Yeah, I was talking to a former classmate of mine there at Jack State that's now a professor. And
Spanish?
It is not in Spanish, unfortunately. And
I mean, the rules may have changed. You may not even need Spanish anymore.
And then one of the professors that actually went to high school at Sachs with my brother, and this conversation was struck, and they thought there was a possibility too. Yeah. Again, I point out to all of them, I don't need this. I do not need this. It is not important to me that I get an honorary degree. It seems important to a lot of people, but I'm fine without it.
No, it's a running joke on the show.
Oh, I know it's a running joke. I'm not even talking about. I'm not even talking about y'all. I'm talking about friends and family members and people that talk about this. I don't care. But I did enjoy the time at the game. Had a blast.
It would be good for the gram to have you in that cap and gown walking down.
Bubba's got an honorary doctorate. Did you know that?
Honorary.
He was telling me that last night.
Yeah.
Bill Bussey.
I mean, if you were to get your degree, we could have a graduation party. We could go on a graduation trip.
That's right.
You could sell a sponsorship with it. I know what you're thinking.
That's right.
Yeah, where are we going to go? We're going to go on a cruise? You boys want to go on a cruise?
I'm not all about cruises.
My high school senior cruise was on a cruise line called the Dolphin.
Yeah.
Y'all ever heard of that cruise line?
Well, I bet there was some debauchery with Sachs High School and the Dolphin.
I say we go old school, like back when you would have graduated. I say we go PCB, Panama City Beach. Right?
Yeah. Go hang out at Club La Vila. There's a problem there.
Is that still working?
Club La Vila,
La Vila's not.
No.
Yeah. We probably could convince somebody for one night only to change the name of their bar down there.
Club La Vila.
Would that be a good throwback?
Pop-up bar or La Vila pop-up?
Yeah.
Just take it around the country?
Yeah.
I think it would be a great business
that's
idea.
what you could do. You could do a list of the most iconic bars like Studio 54, Floribama, Spinnaker and La Vila, Gillies. I mean, you could do
and just take it on tour.
Take it on tour.
Floribama's done a pop-up. Didn't they talk to us about that, doing a pop-up
They did,
somewhere?
yeah.
They've done it before.
I don't know if it ever happened,
Oh,
but
did
maybe
it not?
there
Okay.
was discussion.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's a good business idea. I like that.
Like if you could go back to one bar all time, it probably would be Studio 54 in its heyday, late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
But Gillies would have been really good too.
Yeah, Gillies would have been fun.
Yeah.
Because I've been to Billy Bob's, which is
It's the new version of Gillies.
New version of Gillies.
Yeah, the rumor was at one time Gillies was the biggest square footage-wise bar in the world, and Mickey Gilly got in a little trouble with the IRS.
Yeah,
and place
this one does.
ended up burning down.
Yeah. Odd, huh? Yes. But Billy Bob's is fantastic out in Fort Worth. I love Billy Bob's. So, Whiskey Myers there once before they were really. I just broke a rule. I hate people do. Oh, I saw them before they were big.
Yeah.
I hate it when people do that, but I did. So Whiskey Myers before they were big.
Yeah, you did,
Are they
Brown.
big?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Whiskey Myers pretty big in the country music industry. I mean, they're bigger now. Like they go on tours. I mean, they were just like a regional Texas band at the time. I saw them at Billy Bob's. Billy Bob's is awesome, though. If you've never been to Fort Worth and going there, that's terrific.
Yeah. So Jack State wins last night, and Jack State tied for first place now with Western Kentucky in Conference USA. They play Liberty next week up at Liberty. Thought that was going to be a battle for first place. Turns out on the way to that, Liberty set a record last night. It's been since 1998, this late in the season, that a winless team, 0-5 or worse, has beaten a undefeated team, 5-0 or better, this late in the year. But little Kennesaw State, got their first FBS win last night, beating Liberty.
That's crazy because a lot of people thought this was the worst team in football, is Kennesaw State. And they're probably right.
Yeah. It's the second biggest live dog of the year. So Northern Illinois, I talked to Furman last night about this because we were in the middle of trivia, and I was telling Taylor, said, we're about to have our biggest upset numbers-wise, I think. I said, let me confirm with Furman, and I shot him a text, and he said, actually, Northern Illinois minus 28.
How did Notre
Liberty
Dame-
was minus 27.
How did Notre Dame lose that game?
Yeah, I don't know. But I
what
think
was Vandy, just for the folks that are going to
21 and a half.
21 and a half. So that would probably be third right now?
or
in the neighborhood?
No,
Maybe
there's-
not this year.
Yeah, I think there's
Yeah.
there's a bunch of 21 to 24.
Okay.
But
wow.
that's significant just based on the fact that they had never beaten an FBS. And we were laughing because looking around the crowd, and I know Jack State had a good crowd watching that game early on, but looking around Kennesaw State's crowd, there was nobody there.
Yeah, I mean, why would you go?
And, they have their somewhat, storm the field, and then they have to go back, and there's a second on the clock. And I was like, this would be so Kennesaw State for Caden Salter to make some kind of miraculous play and Liberty to pull this out of their ass. But this tells you how nobody took Liberty seriously at all to be the Group 5 rep. You look at headline pages of any sports website today, and that upset's not even on it. You go to their college football, and it's like Grayson McCall retires, and it's got a bunch of different stories. And then down there, Kennesaw State. Not that Liberty is out now as a Group 5. It's Kennesaw State gets their first FBS win.
I think everybody, and we talked about this in the preseason, is they were going to maybe go undefeated, which obviously they're not now, but that schedule was just not going to support them getting in the playoffs. There was going to be a 1, maybe even a really good 2-loss Group 5 team in front of them in the playoffs.
Yeah, they were nowhere in the voting. They were still 31 in the AP voting. Every other, both military academies and more unbeaten teams, are in the national rankings of the AP Top 25. I think we were pretty on top of it back in the summer that Liberty wasn't going to be in the college football
even
playoffs,
undefeated.
even unbeaten. There'd be strength of schedule teams that are better. So that's an interesting way there last night. Tonight, Syracuse-Pitt. I think there's a lot of interest in this game. I like this one, 6:30 on ESPN. This will get my attention tonight.
Oh, yeah, and we talked about Kyle McCord, the former starting quarterback for Ohio State, who is now starting for Fran Brown. Fran Brown's one of these guys that, coached under Kirby Smart. He's been able to get his collective going a little bit, and Syracuse has been, better than expected. And obviously Pittsburgh's one of your now only 10 undefeated FBS teams.
Skinny number. I mean, Syracuse only a 5.5-point road dog to an undefeated Pitt team. This is a fight for Pittsburgh. And, I mean, it just...
Every week it is.
It is. I mean, Pitt they're a lot like Miami. They're living on the edge every single week, and every single week they somehow manage to pull one out. But you fly too close to the sun, the wings melt sometimes, Dunaway, and I fear that for Pitt tonight. I think Syracuse gets this win.
Yeah. I do too. Syracuse and Pitt tonight. If I was having to put some money on it, I think I would go with Syracuse. Got a big Mountain West game tomorrow night, and then the full slate coming up on Saturday. Later on today, you'll be able to jump at nextroundlive.com, and jump into the pick 3. Brownie in the high 60s of winners last week of the hundreds of you that played that game.
Down a little bit. That was a tough week.
Yeah.
Alabama didn't manage to cover the game at Tennessee. That knocked a lot of people out.
That always hurts a little bit when that happens.
A general rule, too, is when Alabama doesn't cover and Auburn's opponent doesn't cover, you go ahead and wipe out a lot of the people that play the pick 3.
Helps
you
the
might
scoring
imagine.
a little bit.
Yes.
As we jump into today's lineup, brought to you by our friends at Woodhouse Day Spa. Remember, the holidays are coming up. Nothing says happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Hey, I just love you. I'm thankful for you for Thanksgiving. Then a trip to Woodhouse Day Spa.
Yeah, look, holidays right around the corner. You're looking to buy that special person gift. You can do it online. They can actually have it shipped to you. You don't have to do anything. It's as simple as logging on to Woodhouse or birmingham.woodhousespas.com. You can order that special person gift online 24/7 right there. Let them choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services, and more. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Get in, see Stuart and that fine staff up there located at the Summit Shopping Centers. Again, for more information and to order online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. There's 10 undefeateds.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've got... I think 7. I can't find the other. There could be a lot of undefeateds going down this weekend.
Yeah. Let's talk about that after Brownie tells us about our friends at Inverness.
Shakeout Saturday. Is that what you're calling it? Shakeout Saturday? We got a name for it?
I don't know about that. I hadn't seen that yet. But
okay, let's name it Shakeout Saturday. Hey, don't forget, Inverness Country Club's got some great events this weekend. The mixed doubles round robin tournament, which is Saturday. You've got that dry try relay event, which is Saturday. You've got the Heritage Cares Golf Tournament, which is Sunday. This is open to members or non-members. 12:30 shotgun start if you just want to go see the course and play Inverness Country Club. You can also join there. Great place to go. ICCalabama.com. ICCalabama.com. But see more if you want to participate in a mixed doubles round robin tournament. If you want to participate in a dry try relay, or if you want to play in a golf tournament. You can do all that at Inverness Country Club this weekend, ICCalabama.com.
Okay, so there's 3 in the Big Ten, just for those that don't have it up front of them right now, LT. Oregon, Penn State, and Indiana. Then
all 3 are
let me
on
give
up
all
somewhere.
the unbeatens, and you walk me through the scenarios. There are none in the SEC, 2 in the Big 12, Iowa State and BYU, 2 in the ACC, Miami and Pitt, and the 2 military academies.
Okay, so Oregon, I don't see them losing, but they are hosting a ranked team, number 20, Illinois. They are 21-point favorites. Again, we saw a bigger underdog win outright. I don't think they lose. Penn State, really dangerous. Camp Randall, Wisconsin playing a lot better. Penn State at 6-0, should have lost to USC already.
For those that saw Alabama and Wisconsin, what has happened to them?
Their defense has figured some things out. And, there were spots where Alabama is all about explosive plays in Camp Randall. Without those explosive plays, it's not 42-10. I don't know what the number is. Maybe it's 21-10. Maybe it's 28-10.
That could, if Wisconsin keeps winning, that could be a very valuable win for Alabama if they're in there with a lot of 10 and 2s.
Did they by chance injure themselves into a little better quarterback situation?
I said that yesterday on the show. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the numbers. They're not just blow you away, but they weren't doing anything on offense before.
Yeah, I don't. I think this is going to be a really difficult game for Penn State.
I'm all in on Wisconsin.
I think so. So what's my third Big Ten?
Indiana hosting Washington.
Oh,
you got a backup quarterback, and you're a 6.5-point favorite against Washington, who's coming off a bye, by the way. And the thing to look out for Washington, you've got a veteran quarterback in Will Rogers, and you've got one of the better statistic defenses in all of football. And look, it got away from them in Iowa City a couple of weeks ago, but outside of that, Washington was a team that was improving. So I think that's a dangerous game for Indiana.
Iowa State's off this week, so they can't go down. BYU is on the road at UCF, and that number is...
I already told you Monday they're going down.
Yeah.
I mean, UCF right now is a 2-point favorite. There's a reason they're favored. Ja'Cory Brown, they found something at quarterback, much like Wisconsin kind of fell into that. They thought K.J. Jefferson and Gus Malzahn's offense was going to be really good. He hadn't been. Ja'Cory Brown has been the last couple of games. They should have beaten Iowa State.
Had them beat.
They were up 14 in the second half.
It was a miracle drive by Rocco Becht at the end of the game, and he just converted key down after key down after key down. I mean, it took a perfect drive out of Beck to beat them.
Iowa State is off, as I said. So to the ACC, Miami and Florida State.
I don't see that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then tonight, Pitt and Syracuse.
It's 5.5 is the number. So this and much like all Pittsburgh games, they go down to the wire.
And the military academies, Army is off, Navy gets Notre Dame.
Yeah. So it looks like Navy, as a pretty healthy dog there, gets their first loss. So I think you're going to get 3, 4, maybe 5. So, coming into, I guess the month of November, because we're a week out from Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween's a week from today.
You might only have literally just a handful.
Yeah, it always works out, doesn't it?
It was, you guys were talking all summer long. You did not think there would be an unbeaten team. Oregon probably has the best shot of being that unbeaten team.
Regular season. Season. I don't know that they're going to go all the way, beyond Ohio State. We'll see that, or whoever they have to play.
If Oregon goes 15, 16-0, people are going to start talking about Dan Lanning, best coach in football.
No doubt.
I think that was the scenario y'all were talking about when we said that all summer long was regular season.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to have a regular season unbeaten team. I think that conversation was centered around Georgia, and we moved on from that now. So a lot of losses piling up. Stuart Mandel, real quickly on the 8-team SEC tie at the end, just conference play. Georgia has to still lose to Ole Miss. They lose to Alabama and Ole Miss. Alabama can't lose again. Tennessee losses at Arkansas already happened. At Georgia, you can see that happening. Texas losses to Georgia. At Arkansas, that's probably going to screw this up.
Yeah,
Missouri has already lost to A&M, and now Alabama would get them to the 2 losses. LSU, Texas A&M, that would be this weekend, and then Alabama, A&M. They've already lost to South Carolina, or is that still
no? They've still got to play South Carolina.
Right.
A&M doesn't have a conference loss.
So South Carolina and Texas, South Carolina.
No, that South Carolina game's a tough spot for them.
Yeah, I think South Carolina's a tough team.
Yeah.
And then Ole Miss, Kentucky, and LSU, so they'd have to run the table and beat Georgia. Not going to happen, but there is that scenario. And, the tiebreakers, when you start going down through that, at some point.
Did he do them?
He did not. I didn't want to get into the tiebreakers, but at some point, there could be 8 teams in a room, and they go, all right, anybody want to play in this game?
Who would like to go?
It'd be like an SEC shorts.
Ole Miss, you've never had one.
Yeah, Ole Miss.
Back to South Carolina, that's kind of the UCF for the SEC. That's kind of the Illinois for the SEC.
You don't want to go there and play. They can kick you in the butt.
Yeah, I think those are difficult teams. Yeah,
I just think in where it falls for A&M. I mean, they've got to play LSU. That's the biggest game in the conference. Is that the biggest game in the country this week?
It is.
Yeah, I mean, biggest game in the country, biggest game in the conference. Home game. If they win that game, A&M, it's going to be one of those where everybody's talking about, man, what about that atmosphere? How about that? I mean, yeah, man, that was great. You guys showed out, man. Hey, look at the TV ratings we got. People are watching Texas A&M football, and all the time there's just South Carolina sitting there waiting for you to come to Williams-Brice. I think it's a tough spot for Texas A&M next week if they beat LSU.
All right. NFL tonight, you can play the game, lanceslock.com, lanceslock.com. He's very honest when I don't know if the Rams are a play tonight or the Vikings or if he's playing the game or not, but he doesn't always take the Rams. He takes homerism out. It's brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill.
Yes. Winning night again last night. We have got 4 plays up tonight, 1 in the NFL, 1 in the NBA, and 2 in college football. Jump on board, win with us at lanceslock.com. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues. They are ready to serve you. Hard to stop a train. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
The way you look at it right now, Clemson, South Carolina of Offhand 205 wants to know what the line will be for that one, LT.
Where is that game?
It's, I think, in Columbia. Give me 2 seconds.
If it is in Columbia, I am going to say that Clemson is a 2.5 to 3 point favorite.
Whoa, that's a tiny.
That's
a tiny line. I think it's a pretty good South Carolina team. I really do. Now is
that in Columbia?
I'm still pulling it up.
Because I'm telling you, man, I said this before the season started. Circle rivalry weekend.
It is in Death Valley. My apologies.
Clemson is going to be an 8 point favorite.
Yeah, I mean, that's still a very losable game.
Brandon over there says Todd Jones, fantastic pitcher, better mustache back in the day.
Still has it, too.
The handlebar?
You call it a Fu Manchu handlebar, whatever you call it.
Does he still look like he's in? I'm putting you on the spot here.
Shape.
I was about to say, is he still like he's playing shape?
What if I said, no, he's about 70 pounds
No,
overweight.
he's one of those grinders, man.
Yeah.
And he He cares about the body.
Yeah, Todd's in great shape.
You did sort of put him on the spot.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
No, he looked fantastic.
I mean, either way, I would have lied about
Todd's
it.
got a glow to him.
I would have lied
and
about
then
it.
we get off, and he's like, damn, Todd's up 280.
No, Todd does still look really good. I am not lying about it. He's in great shape.
Vikings and Rams tonight, 7:15 on Prime.
You know, one key on that game, Dunaway, is this could be Cooper Kupp's last game.
As a Ram.
And I find it so interesting
Not forever.
because,
You don't know that.
no, well,
The Rams
I didn't know that with Grace McWhorter in early October.
right, absolutely.
So
the Rams would win that trade if this is his last game.
trade deadline is Tuesday. There are a lot of teams, including Kansas City, that wanted Cooper Kupp yesterday in front of DeAndre Hopkins. So tonight he goes against the 30th ranked defense in Minnesota, or pass defense, I should say. I think Cooper Kupp has a big game tonight. And then it comes down to, if I'm Sean McVay, I go to Les Snead, I'm like, if they do win the game, we're 3-4. With a 17-game schedule, we could still play our way back into this once we get our weapons. But on the other side, if Cooper Kupp does show out, there's going to be, I mean, you can probably get something pretty good for Cooper Kupp.
I mean, second round is the asking price. You think that could sneak into a first rounder? No way.
I don't think,
Yeah.
not with his injury. So, I mean, I don't know how much better it gets. But what do you guys do if you're the Rams, you win this game and you're 3-4 and Cooper Kupp looks great?
I'm always a win now guy.
Yeah, I feel like win now. Who wants him? I mean, give me a team
Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I mean, do you think receiver's the problem at Pittsburgh, though?
I mean, I don't think you can trust George Pickens week in, week out.
You really cannot.
And you don't have a number one. Can you imagine if Cooper Kupp was healthy and went to Kansas City?
With DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah.
Well, no, just with Travis Kelce and just Cooper Kupp, not the explosive guy, but always open, just much like Travis Kelce. So not only do you have one guy running wide open, you've got a second guy running wide open for Pat Mahomes.
You would never do this, but the 49ers have lost Ayuk.
Yeah,
You cannot trade him in division.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won't do that. Too bad the Panthers aren't in contention with Andy Dalton because you could just trade straight up for Bryce Young.
Dalton's out this week. Bryce is starting.
Yeah.
He was in that car accident, injured his thumb, so he's not a healthy scratch. He's a scratch this weekend. Bryce Young is going. They mentioned Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's not going to give up, and because they've lost their two wide receivers, they're not going to give up a second-round draft pick, I think, to go get him.
Buffalo.
And I would imagine Kupp probably has a no trade clause in there.
I would
somewhere.
think, yeah.
If Buffalo had not gotten Amari Cooper, it'd be a perfect spot for him too.
Yeah, still would be interesting.
God, adding Amari Cooper to that. I mean, adding a Cooper Kupp to that team with Amari Cooper.
Your window's closing up there, man.
Yeah.
Your window's closing. So that's a fun night tonight. It involves an NFC North team. Amazing numbers from the NFC North. Much like, I forget who it was over there, Pritchlaw, who yawned at tiebreaker talk. Also, if the playoffs start today talk is also can be yawning. But if the playoffs started today in the NFL, every team in the NFC North would make the playoffs. If you're not looking at standings, 5-1 Detroit, 5-1 Minnesota, 5-2 Green Bay, 4-2 Chicago. They're 19-6 as a league. Against outside division, they're 17-4. Closest division to them is the AFC West. They've been that dominant, so dominant. All four teams have 40-plus point differentials or more than their opponents there. There are only four other teams in the league, the entire division, and then four other teams in the league: Washington, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and the Kansas City Football Chiefs. That's how dominant that division's been so far.
I don't know how much of Detroit and Minnesota you guys watched. It was an excellent football game.
Heck of a football game.
It was a heck of a football game.
I was in traffic, but I did have it pulled up on the phone for a little bit.
Yeah, I forgot. I mean, it's just such a deep division. There's just I think ultimately Detroit wins that division.
I think Detroit wins the division. I think they are the best team.
Yeah. They're the best team.
I think Minnesota is going to take on a little water. I think what's going to happen is Minnesota is going to come back a little bit, and Chicago is going to go this way.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Not Green Bay, Chicago.
I think Chicago with a healthy DeAndre Swift and the way Caleb Williams is playing right now. There's only two quarterbacks right now over the last month that have better QBRs. Take a guess.
Better than Caleb Williams?
Because I think one of them's about to become a first-time MVP.
Jared Goff?
I think Jared Goff. I would take Jared Goff at 7-1 right now. I think he's got like the fourth shortest odds in Lamar Jackson. Jared Goff, Lamar Jackson, the only better QBRs right now than Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, and it looked like Jaden Daniels slam dunk rookie of the year, right?
Here comes Caleb.
Caleb and Jaden are both even money right now to win.
And now Jaden Daniels is out hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other NFL news, Tyreek Hill says, start me in your fantasy football this week because Tua is back.
Thank God.
He's not going to wear the Guardian helmet, is what. He continues to say no. They asked him before the season. He didn't want to do it.
I don't get that.
I don't either.
It looks goofy, but I don't think
but it doesn't
the
affect the
functionality
play, no.
doesn't affect anything.
Yeah, our big right tackle had it on coming back off a concussion for the Buccaneers this past week. It does look goofy.
But I don't care. Devin Achane is wearing it. He's one of the fastest guys in the NFL. If it slowed you down, do you think he would wear it?
No,
Yeah.
I was
hasn't slowed him down any.
If you asked me to look goofy or have my right tackle back this past week, I wanted my right tackle back. So if it's look goofy or have Tua back, I assume you wouldn't care if he had it on.
No, I don't care one way or the other. Honestly, I don't really notice it until they do a close-up. Do you guys notice it? Like if you're just the normal shot of a play, I don't notice that
a
guy's
little
wearing
bit.
it.
Our pewter color did not translate to that like other teams. Like some other teams, the color is almost spot on. Really good with the whites, I think.
And even if I do notice it, I don't care.
I don't either.
What does it matter that somebody's wearing that on their helmet?
Yeah, if you're
played
asking
the same.
If you're asking me, do I want to continue to watch football into the future, or worry about these dumb Guardian? I just wear the Guardian. I don't care.
Is there proof that they're working?
I don't know. I don't know
how you'd prove it.
My other note here was that the helmet that Tua has, specifically for quarterbacks, is 46% safer than even with the Guardian helmet on.
Well, I mean,
So I don't know why you wouldn't wear that.
He said again.
It's safer than with the Guardian helmet.
He said again he's got to be more aware, and essentially these are not his exact words, but be more careful. And he said that a lot before. And look, unfortunately, the play he got hurt on, it was an effort play trying to pick up a first down when you're still in the game. I don't know what you're supposed to do there.
That wasn't his fault, and it wasn't even a hit.
No, instincts are going to take over. And talking to our friend Brock Ewart, he said after he got his second, it could be a glance. And that's the unfortunate thing for Tua. And it is going to get to a point, I think you thought this after that hit, that there's a good chance he was done forever. And now you see this with Grayson McCall. And I don't know about you guys, but if it was my son, if it was myself, I think you sit down with a urologist, or not a urologist, a neurologist. And if that neurologist tells you, I mean, hey, look, you're a hit away from.
Why are my pants off? I'm asking about my brain.
You're basically a hit away from being a vegetable. I mean,
I know it's awful.
You got to make a big decision at that point. But what did you say? His helmet that he's currently wearing?
I was about to correct that. 46% less concussions with his helmet. He has the safest helmet in the game, specifically designed by this. We've got one over there. It's the V, the one that starts with a V.
Can we get it?
Which one starts with a V? But I can't pronounce it. I can't remember.
So my question, I'm sure the cost is crazy, but this is a multi-billion-dollar league. Why would everybody not have Tua's helmet?
There
are so many different helmets this year, so they're not all exactly like that. But is that the company that starts with a V?
Yeah, that is it. The VICIS, Vicus, I think.
Yeah.
Shut and Vicus. You see a lot of these, and a lot of them you see, they've got like it looks like almost like I think it like a NASCAR. You remember when NASCAR put the flaps on the car to keep them on the ground? It almost looks like a flap that could pop out or something.
It is actually unless air escapes, so the air is not getting trapped in there during the concussion. The concussion. Tua's is the most safe helmet out there, and it is, according to the report I was reading today, safer than him wearing the Guardian.
Okay.
Wow. So I got.
Look at the padding in this thing, though. I mean, you guys can see. I don't know how well it translates on camera.
I had an Uber pick me up from our friends at HydroLife like 3 or 4 years ago. I was going straight to the airport, and this guy my Uber driver was telling me that he has designed this technology, which is this,
right?
And they're looking for funding for this new helmet. I have no idea whether or not that was him. Yeah.
Our friend Roman Harper's in the next segment, so we'll jump into the college football game with him. He has been very outspoken about the Alabama Crimson Tide. We can't wait to hear his thoughts on Alabama and the rest of everything going on in college football. Show being brought to you today in part by our friends at Way to Wellness, your personalized plan that helps you lose weight or maybe control some blood pressure numbers or cholesterol numbers. It all starts with Leslie and our board-certified team down there. They've got some career opportunities available for you right now, too. Planforme.com. Medical weight loss supervision with Leslie and her board-certified team, meal replacements, all of that. That includes the injections that are helping so many people lose weight today and keep it off. No contracts, no sign-up fees, and the first consultation is absolutely free. See everything at planforme.com. Planforme.com. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at ryanbrownlive.
Are
you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trustville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Hey, you. Feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair. To kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Back with you on the Next Round. Roman Harper in just a second. Remember, availability report out last night. Nate Noel, 6th best rusher in the SEC, is doubtful for Missouri. So too is their quarterback, doubtful. Both injured in the Auburn win last week for Missouri. So best quarterback, best running back coming to Tuscaloosa, doubtful.
That is an issue for Missouri. We'll talk some about that game with Roman Harper. He is presented each week by MyBookie.ag. Code NEXTROUND when you sign on at MyBookie.ag. Harp with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Welcome in, Roman. How are you today?
I'm doing good, fellas. Just heading to the airport. You kind of went out for a second there. Was that Brady Cook doubtful?
Doubtful.
Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, according to the availability report, both Noel and Cook doubtful.
Okay, I had heard Noel, but I didn't hear about Brady Cook yet. But okay, that's very interesting. That's big news.
Obviously, he was injured during that Auburn game. I had to go to the hospital and come back, which you cannot doubt the kid's toughness, but toughness can only take you so far if you're an injury and can't get out on the field. The line did shoot up, by the way, on that news. It was 13.5 at mybookie.ag yesterday. It's 16 now. So obviously the bettors think that Brady Cook is not playing in this football game.
Vegas watched Drew Pine this past weekend as well.
He was not good.
Hey, Harp, that's the thing. Going back to Knoxville this past weekend, Jalen Milroe had been so good the first 4 or 5 games of the season. And watching him Saturday in Knoxville, 25 of 45, 2 turnovers, last 3 games, 6 turnovers, only averaging 1.5 yards per carry. He looks hurt to me. I don't know what you think. I don't know if it's I don't know. He looks hurt.
I don't know if he looks hurt. I just feel like he's not making the layups. He had a couple throws that were wide open. Well, not a couple that were wide open that he missed. He missed the running back, Justice Haynes, in the flat one time, and that would have been a big game. He missed Ryan Williams on an in cut route that, like, he's kind of made those throws all year. And if you make a couple of these throws, like, the feel of the game is just completely different. He missed Jeremy Bernard on a cover 3 beater, and he had him for a touchdown, and he hesitated. He just got to let it rip, and he didn't. And then next you know, he tries to take a check down and misses it. So it's like, these are the plays, and you don't know what play it is that's going to flip or turn a game. And the first couple of weeks he made those plays, and right now he's not making those plays, and the team is hurting because of it. Look, this has got to be an offensive-driven team, an offensive-led team, and, like, that's what's got to pick it up. And the most confusing thing about this team so far is that the highs and the lows have been really high and really low. And I even said that after the Georgia win. I was like, ooh, it was good, but it was a lot of lows in there too. So this team is a place, they're in a race to improve. And Missouri being beat up is a good opportunity for you to actually play a good game, solid, complete game.
Yeah, Roman Harper's with us. Some people would, you hear fans discuss anything when things aren't going right. Would there be, in the NFL, today's NFL, Roman, there would be no reason for Jalen. This is the most asinine thing I keep hearing fans say. He doesn't want to run anymore because he's trying to show the NFL that he can be a pocket passer. There's no truth to that, right? Being able to run moves you up the draft board nowadays, right?
Now, your last statement is 1,000% correct. And so I almost feel that way a little bit as well. And I haven't talked to Jalen, so I can't really say, like, what it is truthfully or not. But I will say this, that if you ask anybody in the country who's the most dynamic quarterback in the country in college football, I bet you 95% would say Jalen Milroe. And that's because of the ability that he has with his legs. When he hits full speed, he's a different guy than everybody else, and everybody knows it. And that is what puts fear in everybody, is his legs and his ability to hit the home run when he breaks out of the pocket. And so for him, I just want faster decisions. Like, if it's not open, just take off and run. Like, that's usually just as positive as you sitting back there trying to go through your reads for 3.5, 4 seconds and then trying to make a pass. Like, that doesn't go as well as when you get back there, 1, 2, you don't love 3, take off. And so when he's done that, it's been successful. When he's sitting back there trying to do all those things, it is not as successful. And the advice I would give him to really address the first thing that you said that you thought was so asinine from all the fans is that, man, let the NFL teams figure that out. Let them figure that out. The least they know about you, the better chance you are to getting drafted higher. The more they know about you, the more they pick apart your game. So that's why sometimes it's better for a guy like Cardale Jones to leave after only playing 3 games instead of staying and all of a sudden they figure out your whole game and where your weaknesses are at. No, let them figure that out. You want to go out there and just win. It's hard for them to deny winning at the highest level. You've seen quarterbacks less talented. All right, Jalen Hurts got drafted in the 2nd round after what he went to did at Oklahoma. Jalen Milroe's a much better throwing quarterback than Jalen Hurts was. All right? So got to have that understanding. And he's a more dynamic runner with more top-end speed. So these are the things that you kind of got to figure out. But Milroe has not won at the same level that Hurts has won at. And so because of that, that's where we're at. Sorry, my wife was calling me if I went away for a second. She doesn't realize I actually work.
Roman Harper is with us. SEC Network analyst. He is on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Harp joins us each week courtesy of MyBookie.ag. Code next round. When you sign on at MyBookie.ag, you make your initial deposit. They double that with code next round. Free money to play with right away at MyBookie.ag. Code next round. Also on that availability report is the name Keon Sabb, and he is out for an extended period of time for Alabama. What does that do to an already thin Alabama secondary?
We'll see. I wasn't mad at the way the Hubbard kid came in and played last week. So, I don't know if it really hurts us that bad. Honestly, Keon Sabb has had I don't like his eye discipline at all, but I'm not going to blame him because if he's being coached wrong, then that's his fault. That's not really his fault. So, but I like the way the Hubbard kid came in last week and played. At least he was a player that I saw on tape that flew around, that was trying to make a play and trying to hit somebody and was trying to get there in a hurry. So I don't think it's that much of a drop-off, in my opinion, maybe in some coverage things, but they're not asking them to do all those things. So I don't think it's as big of a deal as everybody thinks it is.
So Quinn Ewers, 3 turnovers, was benched for a minute. Arch comes in the game. It didn't matter. Georgia goes on and wins that game by 15. If I asked you, watching both quarterbacks, Quinn Ewers and Jalen Milroe, which one are you more concerned about right now?
Quinn Ewers, because Quinn Ewers has the mental things that I feel like he's working on. Like, he has to get over that part where you can't be mentally worried about the guy behind you. And it's hard because his last name is Manning. And so I'm sorry, guys. I'm in a parking garage. It really got dark on me.
Lights out.
Yeah, it did. It really got dark on me here in the car. So I'm worried more about Quinn Ewers just for that case, because he actually has somebody pushing behind him and trying to and really trying to take his spot. So that's one thing. And then also Quinn Ewers for the last couple games just all of a sudden hasn't played well. Like we're having to take him out of the game to kind of save him from himself. I don't know how comfortable I feel about that. If I am Texas and I'm trying to win games, but I do know this: if I'm going to win a championship, a national championship, that is, Quinn Ewers has got to be that guy. I don't think Arch Manning is ready for that, and so Quinn Ewers needs to be that guy if they want to achieve and reach the goals that they want to. Right now, they're missing some things. And it's really just Quinn Ewers in his head. And you got to stop seeing ghosts. If you see it, let it rip. You got no hesitation and understand, like, sometimes you got to cut the rope like Batman did, like Bruce Wayne did in Batman, where, the moment you make it is when you just cut the rope and let it go. There's nothing holding you back. And that's what I feel like Quinn Ewers needs to do.
The Auburn Tigers are playing at Kentucky, and this has been a
struggle bus.
Which one? Who are you talking about?
Both.
Okay.
BOAF. BOAF. Both of them.
I mean,
all right, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay, because I was about to say essentially the same thing. Kentucky has been a wildly erratic team. And Auburn just invents ways to lose games, Harp. And I don't know. I mean, both teams are kind of in search of the same thing in Lexington. They've just got to figure out a way to win a football game.
Yeah, I literally wrote that down in my notes of Auburn. When Peyton Thorne was ran into his own guy and fumbled the ball. I'm like, man, they literally just making ways up to lose now. Like, I've never – and, addiction is real. Winning is an addiction, and so is losing. And so right now, that's what it looks like for this Auburn team, is that they are literally making up more and more ways to lose games. And it stinks because I do not know how to fix it or what they should do to get it fixed. But right now, it's a real struggle for them, and they got to figure it out some kind of way because the season is slipping away from them slowly but surely every single day. And they're in a race to improve as well. And I don't think they're going bullet. So at that point, what are we doing? I don't see them going bowling. They're not going to win much more games. So what are we trying to get achieved here? And it's a real struggle for Auburn because I thought their play creativity was really good early in the game. And then all of a sudden it kind of just went sideways. And then they couldn't hold on, and then they find a way to lose it. Let Missouri go down the field 95 yards when Missouri hasn't been good offensively all day.
Big game at College Station this weekend with LSU and Texas A&M. LSU's defense getting better and better. Whit Weeks, where is this guy on your favorite players of 2024?
So crazy thing is, I brought him up when Harold Perkins first went out. I talked about him, how Whit Weeks was going to be this guy that was going to step up, that maybe they were better overall with him because you didn't have to assume or worry about what Harold Perkins was doing in each individual play call defensively. And so that's what I'm kind of seeing. But overall, Whit Weeks is my favorite right now, defensive guy, probably in the SEC, because last week, after he got that interception, he tipped it to himself. He pretended like he was cracking a beer, like he was chugging a beer. And I'm like, that's my type of guy. Like, I love headband type guys. Like, headband guys, chug beer type guys. Like, these are my people.
He is Roman Harper, SEC Network. Don't miss your plane, man. Safe travels. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, man. I just got in the parking garage. I got some time. I'm fine. But thank you, guys. Appreciate it as always. Mybookie.ag. I'll be on it.
All right, buddy. Take care. Harp with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. He mentioned mybookie.ag, where, as I told you, Alabama has jumped up to a 16-point favorite on the news of the availability report there. So that's where you can play Alabama and Missouri. That Auburn-Kentucky game where, as Harp said, both teams struggling. You don't even have to say which team you're talking about there. They are both struggling. They are both absolutely desperate for a win. You can play that game right there at mybookie.ag as well. Code next round, mybookie.ag, code next round, where Auburn is a 2.5-point road dog in Lexington. Code next round, double that initial deposit at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, mybookie.ag. Code next round.
And our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. That's Greg from Pell City, the guy we've trusted for years to get on our roof, and we think you should trust him get on your roof as well. And you'll do it for absolutely free, a free, no cost, no obligation roof evaluation. He'll do that. He gives you free quotes as well if you want to, put on a new roof or change something like that. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So trusted with the insurance claim specialists that come out. They trust him. If Greg from Pell City says it, they usually sign off on it. Does restorations. He does roof inspections if you're selling or buying a home there. Repairs storm damage and just replaces the aging out roof. Get all the details of everything Greg from Pell City and his wonderful family can do for you. 205-542-3531. 542-3531. Greg from Pell City on Facebook. Family owned, locally owned for over 20 years. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. If you ever need a contact info, hit me up and I'll pass it along to you. Last night, a couple of things going on in the world. That included the NBA debut of the Intuit Dome, the $2 billion arena that the Clippers finally built from themselves. Steve Ballmer deciding, tired of being the little brother to the Lakers, want my own arena. Paid $2 billion for it. It's got the Halo scoreboard like they have inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but the basketball version of that, where they say it's so big that if you laid it out, it's 3 times larger than the Hollywood sign.
Wow. That is hard to imagine. That Hollywood sign is massive.
If you take the lengthwise, if you unroll it and lay it out straight, so it's a pretty big scoreboard over there. And I did like seeing. I thought it was a stupid idea when I heard it. But the 51 rows of fans called the wall, I liked seeing that. It had a little collegiate atmosphere.
Does. Yeah, fans are really close. Your diehard Clipper fans, I think, are on the first 12 to 13 rows. Watching it on TV, I don't like that Clippers logo. They've never had a good logo, but whatever that new logo is, ain't working.
Trying to be nautical with the battleship and stuff like that. The thing that blew me away is I was watching and then reading about it last night. You don't have to pull your wallet out. If you have signed up in advance, you can go and buy your food and your merchandise. All that is all facial recognition. So if you're a season ticket holder, or if you're there all the time, you already signed up through their device, you just walk up, never pull your wallet out, grab your food and walk away.
I don't know if you've done that in an airport. I actually did it at a Texas Rangers game this summer out in Arlington. Now, you have to scan your card at first, but once you scan your card and the door opens, you just get what you want and walk out. And it does facial
so scary
recognition.
How long before the cartel cuts somebody's face off and just puts it up there?
Hey, there's a...
I'm here for my drugs.
I'm here to pick up my hot dogs. I don't know
why does the cartel want hot dogs?
I don't know why we're going to this extreme, but can we get some nachos too? But anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. But yes, you see that. The facial recognition thing is pretty crazy.
It is. I mean, I was blown away. First time I ever used it was at LAX.
I saw Joe Rogan ranting about something the other night.
Oh, yeah?
The one at the TSA is clear, right?
That's clear, yeah. But this was just at an Amazon snack stand in LAX. And it's the first time I'd ever seen it, and I was a little confused by it. But you just scan your card, walk in, get whatever you want, and come out and, get popped for $60 for a box of Skittles and a Diet Coke because you're in an airport,
The Rogan says that in his belief, and he has some conspiracy theories, not everything he says is true, that 23andMe, they've collected all your DNA samples when you send in, that they save those DNA samples and the information, and that there's a big thing about the break on 23andMe. According to him, all their higher ups have walked away recently because of the plans in the future.
Uh-oh.
So what I have done it. What's the plan? You still need to do it because you don't have any Indian in you. But,
well, he's not going to now.
What's the thought though? Like, what are they going to do with the DNA?
I think he was saying that they will be able to sense that they'll be able to push, let's say, high blood pressure. They would be able to inundate me with better high blood pressure ads and things like that. That would be
that's interesting.
Using Google and things to target me with that kind of stuff.
I get targeted with a bunch of bullshit anyway, so I really don't care.
They're just trying to help you, Dunaway.
I don't know. They may be creating a new species somewhere, right? Why they would need my DNA at that point, I don't know.
A lot of interesting things have come out with 23.
It's the worst gambling species we've ever had.
Yeah.
Just play against it.
What if they've got a better you, but they're a new and improved Lance's lock here? They've taken your DNA and they've taken you from 60% to 67%.
Yeah, You'd
be okay if you got kicked back,
I would be okay
right?
with that. I'd seriously.
Does it make the picks? I'll just sit back and watch.
If it doesn't benefit our government, I don't think they care.
If it doesn't benefit our government,
I bet the government's knee deep in it. What do you think?
I don't know.
That's always my assumption.
I'll have to go look longer than the 2-minute clip that scared me from Joe Rogan. All right, our show continues on when we get ready for the World Series, which starts tomorrow. Freddie Freeman's ankle is a big concern for the Dodgers as they get going. But as you heard Buster on our show yesterday, you can go back and see the whole interview with Buster only wherever you get our podcast. He says he thinks Freddie Freeman will be ready to go. How excited are you on a level of 1 to 10 about this World Series?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, like a 5 or 6.
And you're a Dodgers fan.
But I was all in on 17, 18, 20. And I don't know. I mean, I'm excited because it is the Yankees series I've been waiting for a long time. For Freddie Freeman was a non-factor in the NLCS, only 1 RBI because he was out so much with that ankle injury. And I do think it's going to be a lot of fun this series when you look at those offenses. And you heard Buster on the show yesterday talk about all of the former MVPs, all of the guys that will be in Cooperstown one day. So from that perspective, it's really cool. I like the fact that it's on a Friday night, fittingly. USC's got a Friday night game, but at least it's at 10 o'clock at night. I just hate when the World Series hits on weekends.
I do too. I wish they'd just do weekday games of the World Series and just own it. I guess TV ratings tell them they don't need to do that.
I wonder if it's Major League Baseball's like, we're going to do a flex. We can't bow down. We're America's pastime. Wow. It's our biggest stage, and we're not going to be second to anyone. Now, if you did Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it'd be incredible.
Oh, it'd be absolutely incredible. And, I mean, I will not watch the Saturday game. I mean, it will not – I don't even think about it. I really don't even think about it going on, much less put it on TV.
Yeah,
college football Saturday.
I'd even let you battle Monday night. I mean, if you just did Monday through Friday,
I could do that.
Just take Saturday and Sunday off.
You can get a bad Monday night game, but on Sunday you're never going to have all bad NFL games.
Saturday's impossible.
Yeah.
But I had lunch with this guy yesterday, and he grew up in Boston, and he's a Red Sox first fan, but then Cardinals because he spent time in St. Louis. So we were talking baseball, and I said, "How excited are you about this World Series?" And he was like, "I won't watch a pitch."
A pitch. By the way, the Yankees have the most World Series wins all time with 27. The Dodgers are 7th. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me, the Dodgers have 7. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 teams in between the Yankees and Dodgers on World Series championships. 27 for the Yankees, 7 for the Dodgers, 4 franchises in between. Who are they?
Cardinals.
Cardinals is second with 11.
Boy, after that, this gets tough.
It does get tough.
You would think it'd be easier than this.
I would say.
See, I don't know a lot of those like 1900. This goes back to 1900.
9, 9, and 8. All these franchises still in existence, Brown.
Red Sox?
Red Sox are tied for 3rd with 9.
Did the Reds win a bunch even before the Big Red Machine, like back in the...
The Reds are not in.
They're not in this?
They're not in the top 6.
Let's go with the Giants.
Giants are 5th with 8. So one franchise you're missing. And you know it. You know it. You know it.
You know it. Do I know it, Jim?
You know it, Brown.
Do I know it? Even I know it?
It's just, you know it, but it's just out of sight, out of mind.
Because they've gotten bad?
Yep.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Come on, guys.
Well, I'm trying to think who's gotten bad, Jim.
Who won 3 in the 70s and a couple with the Bash Brothers.
Oh, the A's.
The Oakland A's have 9. 9. I think a couple of those go back to the Philadelphia A's along the way, but still.
Will they translate to the Las Vegas A's?
The franchise stays together. So baseball cranks back up tomorrow. One more football thing before we get to Jacob Hester at the top of the hour after LT tells us about our friends at Milo's.
Milo's wants to remind you they've got a special thing going on right now. For the next round viewer and listener, can you name something better than a Milo's burger? How about 24 free Milo's burgers? Milo's giving away a catered meal for up to 24 guests. That's right, 24 of your closest friends, co-workers, or family can be chowing down on Milo's favorites. The best part, it's absolutely free. For your chance to win, head to miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest and enter today. That is miloshamburgers.com/catering-contest. So whether you're feeding a few or a whole crew, Milo's has got you covered. Don't wait. Enter now, and maybe they'll be serving you and 23 of your lucky friends soon. Stay saucy.
By the way, LSU will wear their all whites again, white jersey, white pants this weekend as they play Texas A&M on the road at College Station. Who is it worse for this weekend body clock? Tomorrow night, Rutgers kicking off at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, or Saturday, Washington playing in Bloomington kicking off at 9 a.m. their body clock time.
Early. I think college kids, every Rutgers player is up till 11 o'clock at night. Now, where this is an issue is how much time you have to fill until you get to that game, right?
Right.
On your body clock. Because, once you get conditioned to wake up at a certain time, your body's probably going to wake up at that time. So even if they get out to L.A. or whatever, they're going to wake up earlier than you normally would and have to fill an entire day in L.A. before they play that game.
Those kids are up late night, so I don't think the Rutgers time tomorrow night in the Pacific time zone is going to be a factor. But when you look at Washington, because I have made the mistake of trying to sneak in these 11 o'clock games and it doesn't work, they have played one game in the 12 o'clock noon Eastern, 11 o'clock Central time zone over the last 20 years.
9 o'clock body clock for them.
And it was 2 weeks ago against Iowa, and they got beat 40-16. This will be the second time they've been in that window over the last 20 years.
Not a trend yet. It's got to happen more than once for it to be a trend.
It does. But they're playing an Indiana team. By the way, Kirk Cignetti, 16-1 against the number his last 17 games as a head coach.
Wow.
So not only is he winning, he's covering.
That's what great coaches do, I'm told.
Do you know Cignetti's age?
I would say 62.
Yeah.
63.
He's just getting a chance late in life, basically.
Which makes you ask the question.
I would hire him if, I got to see a little bit more, but like the 62 number is not going to scare me because in today's college football, what do you really get? You get a guy 7 or 8 years.
It's been good. Think about that. I'll ask you a question about it. Possible job opening would you leave Indiana for it a little bit later in the show. But we're going to talk to Jacob Hester when we come back. Big one for LSU, big ones in the SEC. The show being brought to you by our friends at the Pan Store. Great locations everywhere. That includes the original there in Leeds. Also, Birmingham, Huntsville, on campus or near campus, in Tuscaloosa and in Auburn. Your game day headquarters. Bama and Auburn polos and quarter zips and hats are there from Gentile, Antigua, Cutter Buck, Horn Legend, and all the dresses and fall wear for the ladies out there. They dress Little T and EG often for football games, and they can dress you as well with free alterations and free gift wrapping. Western boots, New Balance, and Hoka footwear, all there at the Pan Store. Panstore.com. Order anywhere. Panstore.com. Nothing says Roll Tide and War Eagle like the Pan Store.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at jimdunaway.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
What's up, everybody? This is Mayor Woodfin, the mayor of the city of Birmingham. The McDonald's Magic City Classic, presented by Coca-Cola, returns to Legion Field October 26th. Watch the parade fill the streets of Birmingham. Turn up at the Coors Light tailgate party, enjoy the bands at halftime, and of course, bring that magic into the stadium. The best seats are selling fast. Tickets start at just $25. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at magiccityclassic.com.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com. Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Time goes fast. Already week 9 of the college football season. Happens in life too, guys. As you move from your 20s to your 30s, 30s to 40s, keep your health in mind with our friends at Urology Centers Alabama. UrologyCentersAlabama.com. 35 urologists, 16 locations, treating all your urological needs from prostate health to kidney stones, vasectomies, and more. Visit UrologyCentersAlabama.com or call that number, 205-930-0920. That's UrologyCentersAlabama.com to schedule the appointment.
All right, biggest game in the nation this week is in College Station. LSU on the road at Texas A&M. Our buddy Jacob Hester, former LSU great, now Sirius XM. He and T-Bob do OTB off the bench every single morning there in Baton Rouge. Welcome in, Jacob Hester. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Man, we're doing awesome. We appreciate you coming on as always. Let's start with LSU here. From the USC game, USC has progressively gotten worse, and I feel like, and I didn't know this was the case to begin with, Hester, but it just feels like LSU's gotten incrementally better every week. And what has been the reason for that in your mind?
Well, honestly, if you take a look at, Brian Kelly at LSU, it's kind of gotten like that every single year. And now you want to fix the slow starts, but wildly enough, LSU's lost 5 straight season openers. But, in the BK era, they've done that obviously every time, but they've still won 10 games. And so I'm not really sure where you point at the most. And every year has been a little bit different. But I think the offense kind of started the season really strong. Even against USC, they had some great performances, but I really think it's that defense that has stepped up, and they've kind of figured out the roles for everybody. Like, Harold Perkins is a great college football player. I think he's going to play a long time in the NFL. I don't know what position, but they're going to find a role for him. He's going to have a place in that league. But I think, his injury, because he was playing so many different roles, they were trying to figure out exactly where he was going to play in this LSU defense. It's kind of cleaned up everybody's roles. So now Weeks and Penn are there at linebacker. Major Burns is at the star. Swinson and Jones are going to be your edge rushers. And so, look, Harold Perkins is an incredible talent, but I think you were trying to find the right spot for him. Now other guys are getting the opportunity to say, hey, this is my role. This is what I'm going to be for this LSU defense. And each and every week against some really good rushing offenses, right? They've done a really nice job, I think, of stopping the run and making enough plays in the secondary to be out there and be victorious.
I know week to week the power ratings probably change in the SEC, but right now, where would you have LSU?
I think I would have them third. I still think when you look at where Texas and Georgia are, I still think a lot of those two teams. But, third could change. I mean, you could interchange those teams with, others throughout the league. And it's kind of the preseason narrative that we had. It's like, okay, well, we think these two teams are probably in the top tier. And then there's a group of teams right underneath that have the ability to, challenge for the SEC championship game. Now, those teams have maybe changed a little bit there, but when you look at LSU, we talk about them getting better each and every week. They certainly have the ability to jump into those top 2 spots, just like I think Texas A&M has that ability. If Tennessee can, fix some of the issues that they've had, and look, they found ways to win games, but I think that could interchange a little bit. But I also think now I've got more belief that some of those teams, like in LSU and A&M and Tennessee, can find their way in those top 2 spots.
You've played this game at a high level. I'm not saying LSU and Texas A&M has done this off the radar a little bit, but I mean, Texas, Georgia, and Alabama has eaten up a lot of airtime. So now the stage is LSU's and Texas A&M. How does that impact a player knowing that the nation now is watching a playoff implication game?
Well, hopefully it's what you want, because if you don't want that, you're in the wrong league, you're going to the wrong schools, and so it has been a lot of conversation about success and failures of other schools. But I do think now it's okay. These are the 2 last undefeated teams in SEC play. This is the main stage. This is prime time. This is one of the best venues in college football. Like, this is going to set you up. Now, it's not going to guarantee you anything, but it's going to set you up to play in an SEC championship game maybe if you go out there and handle business. And so all of that being on the table, you want the cream to rise to the top. And as a player, that's what you're looking for. You are looking for, where can I go and make the biggest impact on the biggest stage? And again, if you're not looking to do that, you shouldn't be playing in the SEC. You shouldn't be playing at A&M in LSU, and so you're definitely aware of it. You're aware of what the opportunity is. You know that everybody's talking about that game this week. That's why they put it in the time slot that they did. And so you want to see the best players on both sides rise to the occasion, play their best football, because the stage is set. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to make the SEC championship game because, look, I know how this league plays. Both teams still have games that are going to be difficult. I think LSU has more than A&M. But, again, if you continue to be undefeated and you're the last one standing, it kind of gives you a little bit of a buffer now with this 12-team playoff to still be in the conversation, even if you did slip up.
Jacob Hester is with us, the LSU great, at Jacob Hester 18 on Twitter is where you follow him. He and T-Bob do Off the Bench. Down in Baton Rouge, you can hear him on Sirius XM as well. When you look at last year's team compared to this year's team, Jaden Daniels. Let me not make this statement. Let me ask an expert like yourself. Did Jaden Daniels cover up a lot of issues for this team last year on the field?
I mean, gosh, yeah. Look, the offense with Malik Neighbors, Brian Thompson, Jaden Daniels, they had to be perfect almost. Like, if you had 12 possessions, you better score on 10 of them or you weren't going to have an opportunity to win a football game. I mean, the defense was historically bad. So, yeah, I would say Jaden, along with those receivers, they covered up a lot of issues. They won 10 games because they had the number one offense in the country, a Heisman Trophy winner. So, yes, I think that is fair to say that offense covered up even how bad we know the defense was. It could have been much worse with any other kind of quarterback.
So you changed defensive coordinator, and now you're asking Nussmeier to cover up less, but that's not to discount Nussmeier's play. I mean, he is still playing close to an elite level at times.
Oh, absolutely. Now, the defense is much better, and it kind of keeps you on schedule. I mean, gosh, you look at some of the stats. I mean, they've almost given up through 7 games about half the points they gave up through that same 7-game stretch a year ago. They're creating way more turnovers. I mean, 20-something, 24 sacks, I believe, and I think last year at the time you had something like 9. I mean, it's just every metric that you use. And so, yeah, the defense is certainly giving you an opportunity, and I think they've got a rising star in a guy like Whit Weeks, but it's not taking anything away from the offense. I mean, right now, if we ask 10 SEC experts which quarterback would you take if you needed a 95-yard drive to go win the game in the SEC, I think you might get 5 people, maybe more, to say Garrett Nussmeier. I mean, think about how many big drives he's had this year and how many big moments he's had in the Ole Miss game. And then, just not taking a sack in most of these games. He's only been sacked twice. Now, the offensive line's a really good offensive line, but he's been sacked twice, which is by far the best in the country. And that's because of Garrett Nussmeier understanding the coverages, getting the ball out of his hands, doing all the things that you have to do. And so, no, he is definitely doing his part, and it's complementary football. Gosh, they didn't have that last year. They didn't have anything that was a distant cousin to complementary football last year. And so now you're not asking your quarterback to have to be Superman. He can just go out there and be a really good football player that manages the game for his team.
I did think A&M was going to be better than advertised coming into the season. I really believed in Mike Elko, and they're sitting at 6-1 after the opening loss to Notre Dame. But I thought that they would be a lot better because of Connor Wegman. And look, I know he's missed a couple of games with injury, but when he has played, even against Mississippi State, he has been average at best, and they're still finding a way to win these games.
Yeah, and I also agree with you. When we were kind of at SEC Media Day and you're going around to different shows and they ask you that question, I said, look, A&M, to me, is the sleeper in this entire conference. And that was my answer all week long. And I thought they had Moss at running back. I thought they had a really good front seven on defense. And I'm just like you. It's like, Connor Wegman's going to be the reason that they go out there and surprise people. And this week I was trying to take a look at, okay, I want to look at their best games. I want to look at maybe games where he played average, his bad games. And you go back and you watch the tape, and you're still waiting for that really good game. I know Missouri was probably statistically his best game, but that thing started rolling on Missouri. They couldn't catch up. So I go and I watch the Notre Dame game. It's a lot of bad. I go watch the Mississippi State game. If you're box score watching, maybe it felt a little bit better than it actually was. I know there's a talent there, but you start to look around. It's like the leading receiver on this team's less than 300 yards. A&M's a really good football team, but if they want to get to where they want to go, which is Atlanta for the first time, it can't be Moss running the football, and that's the only thing that you do. We all know that, guys. We know you can win games, you can't win championships being a one-dimensional football team. So he has got to do more. The receivers have to do more, and I do think the talent is there. I'm just like you. I thought he would be the reason why, and maybe he gets back into a flow. Missing games, that's always difficult to kind of get back into it. But there was some bad stuff on that tape just a week ago against Mississippi State. He's got to raise his level of play if they want to go to Atlanta.
Jacob, this is Jim. I don't want you to hold this question against Lance or Ryan. Is there any concern that, these two teams are in a great position, but they haven't played since that USC game, who's not great. LSU's played Nichols, South Carolina, UCLA, South Alabama, overtime with Ole Miss, Arkansas.
They ain't played nobody. That's what you're telling me.
Not nobody.
Ole Miss pretty good.
I know Moscano has a fire machine down near your office, and I know you can do some special lighting with T-Bob for his rants down there. But Bama's played Wisconsin, Georgia, Tennessee, that South Carolina team, powerhouse, Vandy. It's a different schedule. Are you concerned at all that LSU and A&M are sort of propped up by the teams they've played thus far?
I think it's a different conversation for both teams. We need to see where Ole Miss probably is. We need to see how they kind of finish the season. I'm not going to besmirch the South Carolina football team. I know what the record is, but I also know they had a great opportunity to beat LSU and Alabama. The only game they've really got run out of Jim was against that Ole Miss football team. You look at the metrics and what that South Carolina defense is, it's one of the best as far as they're the number one team in the country in forced fumbles. They're one of the top teams in the country, best in the SEC in sacks. That's a real deal defense. Now the offense leaves, something to be desired, but I think that South Carolina team is probably better than they get credit for because of their record. Look, Arkansas in that same building that LSU just beat them in beat Tennessee. Right, so I think there's a lot of parity in the SEC, right? Think about what you just said, Vanderbilt, and you were counting that as a strong win, part of Alabama's schedule. It's because there's more parity. Like LSU's got Vanderbilt on their schedule to end the year, and that game looks completely different than it did, obviously, in the preseason. And so, I think there's, enough on the schedule for LSU. A&M's a little bit under that. Is it going to get more difficult? Absolutely. This is the stretch for LSU. Ole Miss, at Arkansas, at A&M, Alabama. So far they're 2-0, but we'll see what they do in these next two games. But you're seeing Mississippi State lose games, but they're competitive. Georgia game was competitive. Certainly last week A&M was competitive, and so we're going to find out everything about these teams. I think for LSU, it's the next two games you'll really be able to grade them as far as where they're at. Are some of the best teams in the nation.
All right, he is Jacob Hester at Jacob Hester 18. You can hear him on Sirius XM off the bench with T-Bob and the whole crew down there in Baton Rouge. Texas A&M playing host to LSU, biggest game in the country this week. Hester, thank you for the time, man. Always fun talking with you.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I'll remind everybody this. Clark Lee at Vanderbilt and Vanderbilt's success. Clark Lee played fullback at Vanderbilt. I'll leave you with that. Too gritty to be pretty.
Fantastic. Thank you, Hester. One of the great fullbacks of our lifetime is Jacob Hester. I was sounding like Joe Tessitore for some reason right there. I apologize. He was on the hotline there. JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline there.
Go ahead and tell us about Johnston RV
Center. I played
Center.
fullback too. I'm sorry. I forget things sometimes. Johnston RV Center, I-65, exit 304 in Coleman. 334 in Decatur is where you find them. You can go see America this fall in an RV from Johnston RV Center. In fact, they got great deals right now, so you can go see the leaves change everywhere. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur. Travel trailers as low as $145 a month. Fifth Wheel, savings with $45,000 or more. They love the United States military. The way we do on this show is a very, very, very small way of saying thank you. They give you a great discount, whether you're a veteran or active duty. JohnstonRVCenter.com.
IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, now weight loss therapy, all under one roof. HydroLife Therapy, the place you need to go. Very important. Mention the next round when you're in one of those locations. They're going to give you 20% off all of those great services. Location in Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone, Tuscaloosa. For more information and to book an appointment, you go to hydrolifetherapy.com. If you can't make it to one of the locations of HydroLife Therapy, they can send a nurse to your home home, or business. That's simple. Again, very important. Mention Next Round. Again, to book the appointment, go online, HydraLifeTherapy.com.
All right, 4 downs in just a second, but a couple of Cowboy stories that are really unique. One I didn't get to yesterday that a lot of the publications picked up today. But first, Brandon Aubrey, the former Stallions kicker, missing practice this week. He's on their availability report because he is at jury duty. And the Cowboys were going to get him out of it. And he said, no, I want to do it. It's my civic duty. I insist that I go to jury duty. He's one of a 12-person jury. It's a second-degree strangulation charge. I mean, what do we have to prove? I mean, either you choked him or you didn't choke him, but could go on for 2 more days. They expect him. Rarely do they hold the trial on Sunday, so even if this goes into next week, he should be available to go on Sunday against the 49ers.
The least of their problems right now
is the kicker.
I'm going to guess the local judge, as a Cowboys fan, the one thing he's not going to do is have a Sunday trial and keep the kicker in the jury box.
But the joke here for me, I have not seen this anywhere, but as I was sitting here, if I was doing the headline, choking trial goes to Cowboy to judge outcome because they're so good at choking. The Cowboys are chokers.
He's like an expert witness.
That's right.
Choking.
But here's the thing that was amazing when I first read this at The Athletic. The Cowboys do these fan tours. About every franchise have fan tours of facilities and things like this. Rarely do you get to do them in year when the players are there, LT. And they tour everywhere, including, as Dalton Schultz says when he played with the Cowboys, it's like we're in a zoo. They'll have these tours walking by while we're in the weight room in the glass wall, and they're watching us work out, sometimes tapping on the glass, trying to get our attention as they're walking by. Dak Prescott saying, going from one meeting room back to the locker room, I'm within 3 feet of these tours sometimes. You're told when the tour starts not to say anything to the players because they are working. But they say it is like a zoo down there, that these tours are coming by. It's nowhere else like that in the NFL.
Why do they do tours there? Like, if you told me they were doing it in college football now and you had to pay and it was going towards a collective, wouldn't surprise me at all.
You've got to the next page. 50,000 people come through these tours a year in Dallas. $10 million a year they make on these tours.
I mean, that's, again, I knew when you said it, it was just another way for Jerry to scrape some cash.
No, but if you set it up in College Station, Tuscaloosa, Knoxville, Baton Rouge, people are going to pay to take these tours of the facilities. You can turn around and you can pop that money into NIL.
But this is the Star facility in Frisco you're talking about, right?
But
it's not AT&T Stadium.
No, you're walking around. I don't know if it's a separate tour for that or where their facilities are, but I think the Star is where their facility is.
I think that's in Frisco.
But you're walking by meeting rooms. You're walking by the workout place. $10 million a year.
I would pay, like, I'm not going to pay for certain things, but I would pay to see the Rams facilities.
Absolutely. I took you guys to the Dolphins facility. It's their old facility now.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, it was a dump, but I literally just said it was their old facility. They built a new one.
The funny thing was that NFL shop, and we've talked about it before, but it was kind of hidden on the beaten path, and they really didn't have much merch in there, but it was like one person sitting in there just scrolling their phone. Like, they never have any business showing up.
I bought a pullover there. Still wear it to this day.
Slate says if this was a capital murder case, Aubrey could kick the chair out of the guy to hang him.
Wow. Brandon, you know how to kick.
Daniel says, would the Cowboys take Kupp? And how would you feel about that?
Well, I think Kupp's going to be instrumental on the trade, too. He wants to go, and he wants to go somewhere where he can win another championship. And Dallas ain't the place he's going to go. He could stay in L.A. The Chargers would be a suitor. I think what makes the most sense is Pittsburgh, and I could see him want to go to Pittsburgh and play there.
Yep. Where's his college background?
Eastern Washington.
Yeah.
Cold weather.
Seattle is your closest team there.
Yeah. All right. So 4 downs every day brought to you by our friends at Slice. Tyler has them for us today. So non-sports related. Tell us about Slice.
5 great locations for lunch or dinner. Stop in. See the Bajaya Brothers from Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park. The newest location in Edgewood. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Alrighty. What's one piece of technology or a trend you thought would be very popular but ended up not lasting at all?
Well, it lasted a little longer than I thought. I thought the DVD would never go away, and I've still got a collection, and I've still got a Blu-ray player, and I'll still run a DVD at least once a month. It was, a 20-year run on the DVD? But it seemed like it was something. I mean, the quality's great on a DVD. I just thought it would never go away. But girlfriend laughs that I've got DVDs.
You still got all those well, you've still got a DVD player.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, every now and then, like, I'll pull out a classic that the kids hadn't seen. I probably have 250, 300 DVDs.
Yeah. Well, if you had to put a value on that you actually spent to buy those.
Oh, well, we don't want to know that. But a value now, what, $250?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, $1 each, maybe.
Oh, no.
I think it's important to have physical media with everything you like.
Yeah.
Oh, look at old school Tyler. He thinks it's important to have physical. You and him have a lot more in common than I would have thought.
Hey, if we ever
something or buy a digital copy, you're only buying a license for it that can just be taken away whenever that company chooses.
Keith has mine.
That's true.
It's the 3D television, but the problem with that is you had the glasses, and then you went to 4K, which I think is actually better than 3D. I mean, 3D you did have, they would do things with the score bug as I'm doing sports and stuff, but really the ball was never looked like it was being kicked at me or anything like that. It was all graphics that was the 3D effect.
And there was like one game a month that was available in it.
And I enjoy the 4K so much, but when I was at the Rose Bowl? The Alabama-Texas Rose Bowl game, and they had the game in 3D, and they had it in the press box where you could sit and watch it. And I thought, oh, this is the future right here, because they had the graphics, and by zooming the graphics in and out, it would come right at you, and there was depth perception there. But then when the game started, you sit there and you'd watch it, you'd be like, just looks like the game.
Yeah, I was never blown away with the 3D. I will tell you, HD, when we went to high definition, again, my first TV for that was 2003, I thought it could never be topped. Now, I don't know how you top 4K.
Yeah.
They've got
8K.
Yeah. Have you guys watched anything in 8K, though?
But how can you stretch out more resolution? Like, I don't know how much finer it can get. Like, 4K literally looks like you are there. Like, it's right in front of you.
Twice as good.
Is it really, Tyler?
Yes. It's the last sort of step in resolution you can actually notice. 16K it will be completely
But eventually VR is going to change everything too, where you feel like you're literally actually there and you can turn around and see people to your left and right.
Have y'all seen the place? I think it is in...
Not interested in VR, by the way.
I think this place is in Las Vegas. I'm almost certain it is. But it looks like an IMAX dome, and there's some... they now have cameras at these events.
I've seen that.
Have you seen this, Tyler?
Yeah. I think they've got some in Nashville too.
Where it looks like you're sitting on the 50-yard line at all these events.
You're watching the game.
You're watching the game as if you were sitting on the 50-yard line.
I've seen this, yes.
It looks incredible.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the experience is actually like. I'm just saying the video of it looks incredible.
But the VR, I mean, that guy who's washing his Bullets jersey and decides I want to sit down and experience the game and puts the goggles on, I'd be all for that if I'm sitting courtside.
Here's my question with that. He can afford $300 for a VR headset, but he's got to go to the laundromat to wash his clothes.
Exactly.
Some dumb shit.
Exactly. Let's do second down.
Second down.
Sugar Sean O'Malley turns 29 today. Do you guys have a favorite UFC moment?
I do not.
For me, it was when Conor McGregor got tapped out for the first time. Who was the guy that absolutely hated him, jumped in the crowd, jumped back over. Hard name to pronounce. Tyler, help me out.
Is it Daniel Poirier?
No. It was the first guy that tapped out Conor McGregor. And that was just exciting because you knew what was coming. I mean, that's the thing about UFC is these guys can only stay on top for so long.
I don't know that I've ever watched a UFC event. I know it's very popular. I'm not discounting it. I'm not saying, people that like it are idiots or whatever. I'm just saying it's never, ever appealed to me.
I like Ronda Rousey getting knocked out, too.
Yeah.
Because she got so big, doing Entourage and had the new Roadhouse.
Well, I remember Rousey, we talked about that was going to be mine. We talked about it on the show, that there would be never anybody that would beat her. And then that little girl came up and spanked her that night, bloodied that nose. And I remember how excited you were about that. Everyone is saying Habib.
Yeah,
Habib.
that's him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Adam.
Third down.
Today marks the 10th anniversary of the release of the movie John Wick. What is the greatest action film franchise?
Action film franchise.
I think it might be John Wick. You've gone 4 deep. And to me, just how stylistic they are. They're so over the top, but it makes sense. Like watching Keanu, and I know he trains hard and really preps for these roles, but he seems like a badass. And he's one of those characters you really want to pull for. And just how they choreograph all of those sequences is amazing. And I'm looking forward to What's
Ballerina.
Ballerina.
Yeah. And, he's a dog guy, too, which is going to immediately make him somebody that's relatable to the American audience.
He would still just be hanging out on his property if they wouldn't have messed with his dog. Yeah. It's as simple as that.
Driving the Mustang around, minding his own business.
But when it comes to action movies, series, franchises, Bond has got to be the all-time best, right? I mean, I've seen the first two, and I imagine they only get better.
You were watching them all, right?
There's some real stinkers in there, though.
Yeah, I think the most iconic franchise, probably just because of the longevity and the number of installments you've got. But the way, when they first did Wick, I had no desire to see it. And then when I watched it, I was like, damn, this is real deal. And then the second one came, and just the Continental Hotel. I mean, just all the angles. I mean, I loved it.
You're getting a lot of Bournes over in the chat room.
Bournes are good.
They're overrated.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Do you consider the Rocky franchise to be an action franchise? Because I would go Rocky franchise #1 if you do consider it to be under that umbrella.
I think you can. We talked about Rocky last night. It was one of our questions we'll get to when we do Odie's here in a little bit. Like 48 Hours, only 2 movies, but I thought the chemistry between Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy was incredible. I like, and I'm in the minority here, the Bad Boys. The 4 Bad Boys. Me and Jack have really enjoyed those. I think Rocky is more drama than action, but I don't know. Early on, man.
You got to have both elements to make it work.
Yeah, 2, 3, and 4. There were a lot of fights. So
people swear I would like the Mission Impossible franchise. I've just never gotten into it, but I hear all those are really good.
It's one of those rare series that gets better as it goes along.
That's what I've heard.
For the most part.
Yeah. A couple of them were really, really good. Fast and Furious getting some love over in the chat room, mybookie.ag chat room.
It's killed it, but it ain't for me.
Made a ton of money.
Yeah. Some people are saying, if you're going Rocky, would you call Star Wars an action?
Yeah, it is. Indiana Jones is an action franchise.
Okay.
We start to get like Terminator, that's sci-fi, so I probably would stay away from that.
But it got so messy after 2 to where anybody who picks that is like, just 1 and 2. Pretty much.
But Alien.
Yeah.
We're still rolling with that.
Yeah.
Let's do 4 downs. Fourth down.
Drake turns 37 today. He has compared himself to this person multiple times, and so have other people. I think the conversation will happen, but when it's all said and done, who will have had the better career, Drake or Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, it's going to be Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan.
No, bad ending, obviously.
Yeah.
But when Michael Jackson, before you knew he was a weirdo, when he was just an amazing entertainer, I don't know that it's for a singular person.
Well, I don't think anybody disliked Michael Jackson.
No,
And I think Drake, especially now with Kendrick, I think people have drawn a line in the sand, and people have, had their what am I looking for?
It lasted for about a month. He's still number 1.
Allegiance to one or the other.
Yeah.
Well, Michael Jackson, iconic, and moved some needles when it comes to all sorts of mediums, including the videos and such like that. That is 4 Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Yeah, stop in and see the Bajari Brothers, created by the late Jeff. His brothers Jason and Chris continue to celebrate his legacy. Get a slice and a salad today, a couple of pies on your way home, from the hot mama to the soul pie, wing and a prayer. You're going to love it. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
Yes, we do have ears. We understood the microphone issues in the back there. Forrester not here today. His voice booms through that microphone. He's there with his daughter at the volleyball tournament. Had an 8:30 match. You get an update on that at some point. See if they're still alive for an afternoon match coming up. But always love the fact that on our platform you can go be a good dad many, many times, and that's where Forrester is today. Melton in here with us with the return of the Meltdown coming very soon. The announcement coming in just a few days. We look forward to that. So appreciate all the guys behind the big glass there. As the show today being brought to you as well by our friend Dr. B. LT, tell us about that man.
Yeah, Dr. B, again, 3 times a week. I'm doing the non-invasive treatment on the couch. That's all I'm doing for 30 minutes each time. My hair has more than doubled in thickness. Brown is doing the same right now. When I started to thin out 3 years ago, Dr. Beckenstein and his staff, the ones I called, went in, scheduled the consultation, and again, I'm doing that treatment each and every week. Dr. B takes pride in treating each patient personally, using his expertise to produce quality results. For more than 20 years, women and men alike have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. Call now, 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
What's up, everybody? This is Mayor Woodfin, the mayor of the city of Birmingham. The McDonald's Magic City Classic, presented by Coca-Cola, returns to Legion Field October 26. Watch the parade fill the streets of Birmingham. Turn up at the Coors Light tailgate party, enjoy the bands at halftime, and of course, bring that magic into the stadium. The best seats are selling fast. Tickets start at just $25. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at magiccityclassic.com.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Hey, you. Feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair. To kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
What's up, everybody? This is Mayor Woodfin, the mayor of the city of Birmingham. The McDonald's Magic City Classic, presented by Coca-Cola, returns to Legion Field October 26. Watch the parade fill the streets of Birmingham. Turn up at the Coors Light tailgate party, enjoy the bands at halftime, and of course, bring that magic into the stadium. The best seats are selling fast. Tickets start at just $25. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at magiccityclassic.com.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
In some places, football is a sport. In Alabama, it's a fine art. New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming painting, Deuces Wild. This season, Bama is blessed with a pair of very talented deuces. The pair played a huge role on both sides of the ball in the Tide's amazing 41-34 victory over number 2 Georgia. Deuces Wild will portray the unbelievable game-winning 75-yard touchdown catch by deuce number 1, Ryan Williams, late in the 4th quarter. The Dogs' last chance drive was stopped by deuce number 2, Sabian Brown, as he made the game-saving interception in the end zone, which will be celebrated by a small artist's remark in the bottom margin of each print. Go to danielmooreart.com to see the artist's preliminary sketch and take advantage of special pre-publication pricing for Deuces Wild. Also available, The Legend, Daniel Moore's final tribute to Coach Nick Saban. Order now at danielmooreart.com.
We talk about all the biggest games every Monday at 10:30 with Fox Sports analyst Joel Klatt. Presented by MyBookie.ag, promo code NEXTROUND. If it is meaningful at all in college football, we cover it Mondays with Joel Klatt. Presented by MyBookie.ag on the Next Round.
Don't forget good football in the ACC with Syracuse and Pitt tonight, 6:30 on ESPN. You also have EG School, Georgia Southern, having a good year on the road at Old Dominion over on another ESPN platform, ESPN2, if you want to watch that one tonight. LT's referenced it twice now. Grayson McCall retiring from football after another concussion. no other way to describe his last couple of years have not been very good.
No, Jamie Chadwell leaves and goes to take the Liberty job from Coastal, and he decides to go to NC State and play for Dave Duran this year. A lot of people believed it was going to be a major upgrade at quarterback, and Pitt's the undefeated team we'll see tonight. A lot of people thought that maybe undefeated kind of dark horse to get to a college football playoff was NC State, and obviously the injury, they're sitting at 4-4, and it's just really unfortunate, man. That's if you would have said, can you have Curtis Rourke or Grayson McCall, I think most people would have said, give me Grayson McCall. And, unfortunately, sometimes it's just not a fit. You get injured, and it sucks the guy had to shut it down this early.
Yeah, I mean, this season, his career capped out on that last year for Jamie Chadwell at Coastal. I mean, that was the best we ever saw at Grayson McCall, and unfortunately did not translate to NC State, and even more unfortunately, he has to end his career this way.
Kurt Cignetti, we talked about him at age 63. By the way, today, Kalen DeBoer's birthday.
How old's he?
49?
I don't know. I don't have it in front of me. I just saw yesterday.
Is that right?
On
49.
Hey Coach.
There you go. Look at that.
Wow. Hey Coach wished him a happy birthday today when Chris and them were doing it last night. So Cignetti is 63, I think we decided earlier. If Arkansas came open, which I think is still in play,
yes,
would you leave Indiana for Arkansas?
I would.
Would he leave Indiana for Arkansas?
100%.
Yes. I thought you were going to ask if I'm Arkansas, do I want him?
Okay. First, would you leave if you were Cignetti? Indiana to Arkansas?
Yes, I would.
Because you said earlier this week, Brownie, if you take one of these SEC jobs, you get paid, but you lose. Is Arkansas one of those places that you get paid better than Indiana? Absolutely, but are you just going there to get your retirement?
Yeah, I mean, but ultimately, I think Indiana's that in the Big Ten, right? But he has won there.
Maybe if he can close the deal real quick, Brown, say what you want about the schedule. If he goes 10-2, gets Indiana to a college football playoff, when you look at other teams right now in the Big Ten that are struggling, if Cignetti, I'm sure, believes, if I can do this, Indiana is a much more difficult job in the Big Ten than Arkansas is in the SEC.
Now, I cannot explain Army and Navy doing this in the same year. I don't know how that has timed out the way it has. But I can explain Vanderbilt and Indiana and some of these teams like that having a better than normal year. It's easier than it ever has been. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier than it ever has been with the transfer portal.
Or harder if you're good and trying to stay good. But
I'm saying for the teams like Vandy and Indiana, it's easier than it ever has been.
Right.
Because they are able to go out and get one or two game-changing players. And, I think the way college football is moving, you're getting more and more parity. You only need a couple game-changing players to maybe not make the playoffs. I mean, Vandy's not going to make the playoffs. This is one of the best Vandy teams we've seen since, it's the best we've seen since James Franklin. Maybe the best I've ever seen. I mean, I don't know that the Franklin teams were this good. They just stacked wins against... Oh, you think the Franklin teams are better than this?
But you're about to say they just stacked win against bad teams.
They did.
Okay.
I don't think he never beat a top 25 when he was at Vanderbilt.
Dunaway.
You don't think they ever beat it?
No.
He never beat it? I thought he did beat a top 25 team.
Was Auburn in the top 25 when game day came?
I think he was. That's how game day comes usually. It's following a top 25 team. That's the one I was going back to.
So you don't think James Franklin just stacked wins against bad teams at Vandy?
Well, I mean, the SEC was a little down at that point, but I think he had, was it 2 wins against Georgia?
I mean, you say game day. Game day's in Bloomington this week, and Washington ain't.
Yeah, but I mean, one of those teams definitely ranked at that point.
Yeah, but I think they came to Nashville because Vandy was ranked.
His first season, he did not have a single ranked win. He beat Elon, UConn, Ole Miss, Army, Kentucky, and Wake.
Well, you're pulling those up. Army, Navy, it's a great story, cheering for them, but they've played nobody either.
Yeah.
If Navy beats Notre Dame this weekend, then that's a different story.
I get it, but Army, much like Indiana, has not trailed all year. I don't care who you're playing. If you haven't trailed through 7 games of a season, that's impressive.
Year 2, no ranked wins. He beat Presbyterian, Missouri, Auburn, UMass, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Wake, and NC State. And I'm going to guess year 4 he had no ranked wins. Year 4.
This Vanderbilt team would walk them off the field.
No ranked wins. Austin Peay, UMass, UAB, number 15 Georgia. That's his 1 ranked win. He beat number 15 Georgia. Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, Wake, and Houston.
Did you do year 3? I went 1.
That was year 3.
Okay, so there was no year 4.
There was no year 4.
Okay.
He cashed in as quickly as he could and got out of there.
So Clark Lee's ranked win is Alabama right now, right?
Yep.
And some opportunities still to come this year, including number 5 Texas. very soon.
This Vanderbilt team feels much different than those James Franklin teams.
I agree. Yeah. And a lot of that is because of what I was talking about with Pavia.
It doesn't feel better than Jay Cutler's teams, though, to me.
Oh, I think it does.
It doesn't to me.
When were Jay Cutler's teams? You're talking about the one that
he was 2005, 2006. Yeah, 2005, I think, was his final year.
Jay Cutler and Earl Bennett were there at the same time.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good little football team.
In 2005, they were 5-6, 3-5 in conference.
Yep.
2006, they were 4-8, 1-7 in conference.
This is totally different.
2004, if you want to go back a year before, 2-9, 1-7 in conference.
Yeah.
These teams feel better. Yeah. It's a better football. I think it's the best Vandy team of our lifetime.
Yeah, not for me. But for you guys, I understand. New York Butcher Shop brings you part of the show, and then we'll get to our Thursday tradition.
Hey, weekend is coming up, whether you want to pick up a couple of steaks, some of their great wings. New York Butcher Shop, one-stop dinner shop. And they also want to remind you that Thanksgiving right around the corner. Turkeys are fresh, all-natural, hormone-free from Joyce Farms, one of the best poultry producers in America. Turkeys fresh, but they can also smoke or brine them for you. Also, they carry ham, certified Angus prime beef tenderloins, rib roast, all their side dishes prepared in-house. Feed 8 to 10. However, they do make smaller sides that will feed 4 to 6. Don't forget, they've got desserts like pies, cakes, banana breads, great selection of wine to pair with your turkey or beef tender roast. Very important. They're taking reservations, highly recommended. They've sold out of turkeys each year. They don't want people to miss out. So stop in one of those two locations, Caba Heights, Highway 119. Rare quality, well done service. It's the New York Butcher Shop.
We'll do a little Who Would You Rather Be in just a second, as opposed to our Thursday tradition, which takes us back in time. Hit it, Tim.
The College Football Spotlight.
College football's best traditions.
Spotlight every day presented by McCurry Van and Car Rental. Rent from McCurry. They make it easy. They get you in and out fast. They have got locations all over North Alabama, Athens, Muscle Shoals, Huntsville, Coleman, 2nd Avenue Northwest, Skyland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa, 256-559-1003. That's 256-559-1003 or McCurryRentals.com. That's McCurryRentals.com. The South's oldest rivalry is revived again.
You said
this
oldest,
Saturday.
The South's oldest rivalry.
The South's oldest rivalry is revived again this Saturday.
Georgia and Auburn aren't playing each other, Brown.
Jim, that's the Deep South's oldest rivalry.
Yes.
Which might surprise you. They've actually played the same amount of games as the South's oldest rivalry. And in fact, the Deep South's oldest rivalry started 245 days before the South's oldest rivalry. So I'm not quite sure why Georgia-Auburn is the Deep South's oldest rivalry and North Carolina-Virginia is the South's oldest rivalry, but here we are. So these two teams will play edition number 130. There have been 4 ties. Who do you think holds the edge in the South's oldest rivalry?
I'm going to go North Carolina.
I'll lean Carolina.
North Carolina, 66-59. It's actually been fairly close in the South's oldest rivalry. This actually used to be a massive football game. They would play for preeminence, North Carolina and Virginia, for Southern football. There were a lot of people that thought the winner of this game was the best team in the South, and in fact, one reason you have the South's oldest rivalry, oh, look at that cool little photo Tyler found. And the Deep South's oldest rivalry is because one year everybody was like, well, you're not the South's oldest rivalry. You're not the best team in the South. You play a team in the Deep South. So you know what Virginia did after they beat North Carolina? They played Georgia and Auburn, and they won by a combined score of 82-0. So everybody's like, okay, maybe Virginia is pretty good. So they became the best team in the South, and that used to mean something back before we had a national game the way it is now. But North Carolina and Virginia will revive it. This was such a big game one time that President Calvin Coolidge once attended. You get a president to a game, you've done something, right? Sitting president at a game, Calvin Coolidge.
Outside of maybe Trump. He seems to go to a lot, doesn't he?
He does. Well, he went to one as a president, right? 1928, it was a Thanksgiving Day game that Calvin Coolidge was there, and he enjoyed that game that day, watching North Carolina 24-20 win over Virginia in the South's oldest rivalry. They play it this weekend. Jimmy D, what's the TV time on the South's oldest rivalry? I got to find that real quick so I can tell people how they can celebrate. No. It's 11 o'clock. And you know where you play the South's oldest rivalry, right?
ACC Network?
Nope, the CW.
Boy,
if you watch
why would you not, right?
They look rough. South's oldest rivalry this weekend, Virginia and North Carolina.
Brought to you by our friends at McCurry.
McCurryRentals.com.
All right. So a little who would you rather be for the next 5 years? Not forever, but for the next 5 years, LT, who would you rather be? the USC football program or the Oklahoma football program next 5 years?
I think I would rather be USC. I think the Big Ten is easier to navigate. USC still, maybe sans Ohio State, Michigan. They could still be the alpha of that conference if they ever turn it around. I don't ever see a world where Oklahoma could be the alpha of the SEC. So, and I do think Lincoln Riley is a much more proven coach. It has looked awful his last 14 games, 15 games, 16 games. Since 6-0 last year, I mean, the bottom's fallen out. But Brent Venables has never done anything.
But you're not saying you don't think Oklahoma ever is in the top tier of the SEC or wins SEC championships, right?
I think they could. I'm just saying I think USC can do it consistently. I don't think Oklahoma can do it consistently.
But you don't think they're about to become what Nebraska became when they went to the Big Ten, right?
I don't know.
Obviously, it's off to a bad start.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's going to be. Oklahoma's not SEC ready. I guess the question would be. I think that's obvious watching Oklahoma. They're not SEC. Do you watch USC and say they're not Big Ten ready? Have you had that feeling?
No. I really do think a lot of it's injury related, and they just don't know how to close. And look, that's a mentality thing, and that is on coaching. The defense is a little improved, but you're missing your two best defensive guys right now. You know, I look at Miller Moss, and quarterbacks always seem to get right under Lincoln Riley. Miller Moss hasn't been bad, but he's got 5 guys starting in the NFL this weekend, 5 of his former quarterbacks. And Miller Moss has been good, but he hasn't been great. And, you know, USC is one of those programs where they really could go out and get any transfer quarterback they want.
Brown, did you choose USC, Oklahoma next 5 years?
I think I would rather be USC because I'm with Lance. That's why I was asking that question. I don't know that I look at them and think they're not Big Ten ready. I just think they are a little bit banged up. I've watched Oklahoma. They are not SEC ready, and that may take a minute to flip that around.
Who would you rather be next 5 years? Florida or Auburn next 5 years?
I would rather be Florida.
Why so?
Just because I've seen, over the last 30 years, Florida's had more success.
Why'd you go 30?
Because I think before that, Florida sucked, right? Yeah. Look, both programs are really, really bad. I think if they played right now, I think Florida beats Auburn.
Well, everybody's found a way to do it so far. So part of this over the next 5 years, do you think either one of them have their coach for the next 5 years?
No.
You don't think so? Neither one. So you don't think Hugh Freeze or Billy Napier make it until 2029?
It seems like, and I could be wrong here, seems like Freeze, I don't want to say he's tapped out, but it seems like Napier is more in the moment. Hey, look, game to game, we got to get this. There's more urgency.
Well, he's coaching for his job, and Freeze probably is not at this point.
If Freeze, it seems like more, boy, this is not fair to Freeze, but it does seem like this. Maybe this is just their personalities. Seems a little more lackadaisical on the losses. I know he's frustrated, but Napier seems super focused to anything he can do to scratch and claw and get a win.
So in the elimination bracket here of those two, next 5 years, who would you rather be, Auburn or Oklahoma?
Oklahoma. Brown. Auburn right now is the worst team in the SEC.
State's worse than Auburn. Van Buren has made State better.
I don't think so.
Yesterday you said State was better than Auburn, I thought you went with Van Buren. And
I got them upset in Arkansas.
And I'm just looking like over the last 3, 4, 5 years, the only program worse is Vanderbilt, maybe Mississippi State. Auburn's just taking a hard fall.
It's hard to say Auburn's worse than Oklahoma. Auburn won the game on the field.
Yeah.
And until the last moment when they threw a pick six. Auburn controlled the game on the field. Didn't win the game. Controlled the game on the field to the last minute. One time we've seen them on the field. Now, if that game's in Norman, it probably is still an Oklahoma win. So maybe you're right. I don't think Venables is there 5 years. I don't think he's the right coach for Oklahoma.
He's already fired his OC, his hand-picked OC, middle of the season in year one.
Yeah, I think
that's desperation.
They made a critical mistake giving him that raise and that bigger buyout before this season.
And he pulled one of their highest-rated quarterbacks that they've ever recruited there in Jackson Arnold early.
He's
panicking.
That was a mistake. Yeah, I agree. I thought he panicked back then to do that. Venables, Freeze, and Napier. I think Venables is gone before Freeze and Napier.
Well, I think the only factor in that, Jim, is how big that buyout is on the contract they just gave him. He's got the freshest contract of that group because it was done in the offseason.
Yeah.
Freeze is only on year 2 of his. Napier's his is running out.
And Barry Switzer very adamant after the Red River that they've got more money than us. Talking about Texas, they've got more money than us. Barry Switzer,
not shocking, I don't think.
So I don't know how much money is around the Oklahoma
program. But you talk about those three coaches, and I agree that Venables probably out before them. But Napier still is on the table this year. Like Venables can't lose his job this year. Napier still could lose his job.
Ooh, I don't know if Venables can if they've got money.
I don't know what the buyout is.
I don't know what they have, how much money they have there. Okay, I got three more of these on a national scale. One of them involves an SEC team still to go here after LT tells us about Hemphill.
205-229-2090. That is the number that Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. If any of these issues arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
And our friends at New Life Art getting you ready for the next 5 years. You can remember what Nick Saban did for the last 17 with the legend, a tribute to Coach Nick Saban, painted by Daniel A. Moore. DanielMooreArt.com to get more details about this wonderful piece of work. 6 national championship seasons, and you can pre-order it right now. DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. The 2025 calendar available as well. The perfect stocking stuffer. Just go to DanielMooreArt.com to pick that up. Use the promo code TNR. You get 20% off. For the Alabama fan in your life, that calendar is so good. And don't forget Deuces Wild from the Georgia win. Ryan Williams and Zabian Brown both wearing deuces, both making game-winning plays. Get your pre-order now at DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. Next 5 years, would you rather be Michigan or Washington?
Well, I don't think Michigan has their coach either. And that's going to, that always complicates this. Is Jed Fish Washington's coach for 5 years? I think I could see that happening.
I could see that happening, but with all that said, I'm still going to take the Michigan brand. I mean, Washington just seems like one of these programs where they'll have, a moment in 16 with Peterson. They'll have a couple of moments in 22 and 23 with DeBoer. Go back to, Don James in 1991. There's just a lot of ups and downs there. And Michigan, look, I know there's been bad years, no doubt, but I think Michigan coming off a national championship last year can get this turned around a lot quicker. I mean, they're just really a quarterback. That's really all they're missing.
Yeah, I mean, they are missing a quarterback, but, I mean, Sherrone Moore has been there and saw that quarterback room and didn't go get one. So I don't know if I have confidence in him to fix that.
Who would you rather be next 5 years, Clemson Tigers or Miami, Florida?
Clemson.
Yeah, I'll still stick with Clemson.
Clemson's the better program. They've got more resources. They've got the better coach.
Even with the
better fan base.
Better fan base. They've recruited better. They've got an on-campus facility. Like, I can't find anything Miami, other than weather, has better than Clemson.
And I still think Clemson's going to end up beating Miami and winning the ACC this year. And Miami's got the transfer quarterback that everybody wanted.
Georgia or Texas next 5 years? Who do you want to be? Either one, obviously, is a good answer.
Well, let me ask you this.
Texas.
Is Sark going to be the head coach at Texas?
Well, that's who we've discussed with everyone. It's hard to think he's not going to be there 5 more years.
Georgia, 100%.
Oh, so you didn't? You went the dipsy. You went the fake on me. I said he's going to be there. Oh, then I'm taking Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
again, you guys tell me the big regular season game in Tuscaloosa last year, but outside of that, you give me a big game that Sark has won. And don't say the Big 12 championship where they were a double-digit favorite last year.
If Sark is gone, you wouldn't change your answer, though. You'd still go Georgia.
Well, it depends on who the guy is.
Yeah, but whoever they've put in there, they've had to fire.
You think Kirby's there 5 years from now?
I do not.
I don't either. I think Kirby either retires. I've just never seen him as a guy that would try his hand at the NFL.
Me either.
But this feels like this system will wear on Kirby, this system of college football.
It depends on whether or not they really get this regulated and change the rules over the next year or two.
Yeah.
That is a little fun of who would you rather be right now. Show being brought to you by our friends at CPAP Plus. They can change your life with a great night's sleep. CPAP Plus. We'll talk to Dan Orlovsky coming up on the other side. Tell us about CPAP Plus.
Yeah, CPAP Plus, they are ready to serve you right now. The O'Neill brothers, CPAP users themselves, so they know exactly what you're looking for and what what you're getting when you come by CPAP Plus. You can Google CPAP Plus, visit one of the 3 convenient locations, Pelham, Highway 280, Trustful. They've got a special offer for the Next Round viewer and listener, $20 off towards the purchase of a new mask, CPAP cleaner, even a travel CPAP machine. Make sure you mention the Next Round. Stop by today, CPAP Plus, where you're going to find the best service and equipment all in stock, ready for you, with hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. Trust CPAP Plus for all of your CPAP needs. CPAP Plus, where every night matters.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Our friends at Milo's Hamburger invites you to join them in the fight against hunger in our local communities by bringing non-perishable food items to your local Milo's, including canned goods. When you donate a canned good or any non-perishable food item, Milo's will give you a free drink. Together, we can make a difference.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Dan Orlovsky in just a second. Of course, this hour always brought to you by Champy's Chicken. Just the appetizer list today. I just want to run through the appetizers because my wife, I don't know about your wives or girlfriends if you're watching or listening, but my wife, she'll go out and sometimes she'll skip the entree. She just wants to go 3 apps or 2 apps and just make her meal off the appetizers. You could do that at Champy's if you want to. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, the fried jalapeno basket, buttermilk fried pickle spears, not just the chips, the spears there. The smoked sausage, cheese, pickle plate, also good. The appetizers there at Champy's Chicken. Of course, the southern fried chicken, the hand-cut chicken fingers, all your tailgate food. Right there with Sterling and the crew, Highway 119 in Alabaster. Tailgating and catering at Champy's Chicken, champy'schicken.com. Before Orlovsky joins us, Virginia Tech has dismissed Hajir Miller, who came to them from Temple, because of a gambling probe by U.S. gambling authorities right now in the Temple program last year. Several games were flagged last year, including a big one with UAB in the regular season. Miller averaged 15.8 points a game. You guys, I remember we talked about it on the air where that UAB at Temple game, UAB was a 1.5-point favorite, and on game day it shot up to UAB an 8-point favorite.
I remember that,
We
yeah.
were like, what was going on? Where in that game, it got flagged. In that game, Miller only scored 8 points, had a record turnover day. To show you how he would play against UAB in the American Conference Championship game, he scored 32.
So that seems fishy.
You guys remember?
Now he's been kicked off the Virginia Tech team.
Yeah.
So I assume that investigation may not be going exactly the way he had hoped.
Yeah, the point guard's name for Nick Nolte's Blue Chips, what was his team, the Sharks? I think it was Tony. Was his point guard's name. And he went back and watched the film, and Tony would turn it over here.
Dribble off his foot.
Yeah, bad pass there.
Yeah, Nick Nolte's in a dark room just watching the tape, and he gets madder every cut up. Yeah.
Because he knew what was going on.
He did.
By the way, Rick Pitino says yesterday they had their media day. Rick Pitino, St. John's, says retirement not on my radar. I am going to coach until, quote, I drop dead, end quote. But what he did leak out yesterday, as those of us that are older occasionally do, you leak out things before it's been announced. He said he was excited to be back at Providence, to go back to Providence this year because they're going to take his advice and put Billy Donovan's number retired and put it in the rafters.
Providence had not announced that.
They have not announced that yet. And my question, when St. John's played there last year, Pitino started his post-game news conference. Hey, before I talk about the game, I just was at the shoot-around today. I was looking up in the rafters. How's Billy the Kid's name not up in the rafters? So 1 year later, they're doing this. But that's a question I would ask. He took you to a Final Four. They beat a great Wimp Sanderson, Alabama team to get there. How is Billy Donovan's, if you're retiring any numbers at all at Providence, how is Billy Donovan's not already in the rafters from back, what was that, the 80s?
That was 1987, that team that knocked off Wimp's team and ended up going to the Final Four. I don't remember how good his years were. I just remember
that one game.
Yeah, because that was the first year. I think the three-point shot was implemented, or the three-point line was 85.
Yep.
And so that was the next season, the next full season.
Yeah. I don't even know who the greatest Providence players of all time are. In my life, it's probably God Shamgod. Am I wrong about that?
He was good.
God Shamgod could play, man. But I would agree with you. Just knowing what Billy Donovan ended up doing, how his number's not retired, is pretty crazy.
Yeah, should have happened already. NFL tonight, we got a good one. The Vikings coming off a loss, but still look very good, taking on the Rams, who look healthy with cutback.
Yeah, I feel like I cannot ask Dan the first question because the natural first question is about tonight's game, which is the Rams. So I'm going to cede it. I'm going to cede it to Lance after I say Dan Orlovsky joins us, courtesy of mybookie.ag. Code next round, Lance, where your Rams are a 3-point home dog on Amazon tonight.
Yeah, look, they've been completely banged up, Dan. You know this. I mean, the only game they got run out of the stadium, very weird, week 2 where Kyler Murray played like the next Pat Mahomes. But the Rams have been really close against Green Bay. Should have won that game, should have beaten the Bears. They've kept it together. They're coming off an ugly win against the Raiders. But here comes Cooper Kupp. And the difference with Cooper Kupp and Puka on the field is night and day. Do you think, first, this is Cooper Kupp's last game as a Ram? And number 2, what kind of a difference will this be for this offense with Cooper Kupp back tonight?
I think if they win, he remains a Ram. I think if they lose, I can see the world where, falling to 2-5 makes it at least again, having worthy of a conversation, saying, are we going to make the playoffs? Are we capable of coming back from 2-5? Are we getting healthy? So I think tonight's game is massive in relation to that. What is his difference? What does the difference mean is we're talking about one of the elite quarterback wide receiver connections in the NFL. In many ways, the Rams go, Cooper, get open. And he gets open, and you're talking about on all downs, the opportunity to have consistently positive plays, the trust that Matthew has with him, and then like how much easier everyone else's job becomes. No longer does Whittington have to go and kind of win on his own, or Tutu Atwell have to go win on his own. The attention would be significantly greater to a Cooper Kupp. So it's a really big game for him and for that Rams offense.
I'm interested about the Vikings. They lost, but in a way, in my eyes, it was such a good competitive game. I walked away probably more impressed than the Vikings than I was going into that game last week. Where are you on Minnesota after they take that L?
Yeah, still one of the 5 best teams in football, and certainly one of the 2 best teams in the NFC. I think the thing that you take away would be this, though. We've watched 2 teams against that Minnesota defense really try to scheme them up, and the Lions are certainly capable of it. And I think if you're the Vikings, you're sitting there going, okay, we're obviously tremendous, but the Lions have laid a little bit of a blueprint. Now, just because there's a blueprint doesn't mean everybody can do it. But the Lions were really aggressive on second down. They wanted to do everything they could to not get into third down. They went with multiple protection people. And so they kind of sat there and anticipated what Flores was going to do. And I do think it'll be interesting to see, again, with another very well-coached offense tonight, does he have any adjustment? Does he have any philosophical or situational adjustment to try to not allow teams to do that? But still, I want to see just tonight with Minnesota, Sam's thrown an interception in 3 straight games. I don't want to say he's plateaued, but he's kind of hit a little bit of a kind of a leveling off point. Can he kind of recapture the first 3-4 week magic he had?
Dan Orlovsky is with us, courtesy of MyBookie.ag, code next round. Tonight's game, the Rams a 3-point home dog against Minnesota on Amazon Prime. MyBookie.ag, code next round to double your initial deposit. Excuse me. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Have we seen Deshaun Watson's final game as an NFL quarterback? Do you think that is on the table?
Absolutely. I think as a starter for sure. He might get the opportunity to be, a spot starter here, but I think as like your franchise quarterback, yes. 1, because the play was what the play was, but 2, I think this is his 4th major injury now. I believe Deshaun has had 2 ACLs. He had the shoulder last year, now a ruptured Achilles. At some point, the athletic body only takes so much till it starts to break down. I've been a believer that his body had started to break down already. So, yeah, I believe that as like the guy starter now, money might change that in Cleveland, I guess. You could make that point. I think Cleveland's going to lose enough games where quarterback becomes very much at play in the draft for them early on. But, yeah, I think so.
I think if you ask most, they would say if I've got one drive, I'm going to take Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, or Josh Allen. But if I said I would rather at this moment have either Joe Burrow or Jared Goff, am I crazy?
No. Both those guys are playing tremendous football. That's the best football of Jared's career. I've known Jared, since he became a pro essentially, and the best ball of his career, man. It's so clean. I've always told people the 2 things that he has superpower-wise are 1, when he's clean, he could throw it with anybody. He really can. And then 2, he's got no memory. He is so unfazed by stuff in a good way. And so, and then Joe Burrow is as hot as anyone in football. I don't know if there's a quarterback making more difficult throws than Burrow in football on a consistent basis right now. Massive game for Cincinnati and him this weekend. But, Lamar's the best quarterback in ball right now. But certainly when all the chips are on the table, it's win or go home, I'll take Patrick.
Remind me to ask Dan at the end if he's in the studio during the Alabama game again this week, because Alabama rarely plays well when Orlovsky's in the studio.
It's an ABC game.
Hey,
I will not be in studio this weekend for Bama for the Bama game now.
Oh, good. Bama fans smile there. Not that you have any impact, but you're always able to break down
Yeah, I
what's
don't
not
know
good.
if after the Alabama loss, or maybe the Carolina, when they beat Carolina or South Carolina by 2, I was in the studio and I said, Alabama, if they play that way, will lose to Tennessee. Alabama fans were not nice to me in my social media. They said many mean things.
Yeah, been there.
But yeah.
Yep. Since we jumped into it real quick, seems like Jalen's you're a quarterback. What do you see with Jalen Milroe and maybe his feet?
His feet have regressed. He has been very erratic with his feet when he has to go from number 1 to number 2. When the pocket, and sometimes his feet are telling him the pocket's not clean when it is. So he's almost anticipating and or feeling stuff within the pocket that's not actually there. And so that's really affected his accuracy. He's not talented enough as a thrower yet where he can make some of those tight throws with poor mechanics. And his mechanics have started to fall off. And I think that's a little bit of like depressing and trying to make things happen instead of allowing just the flow of the game going to do with the ball.
Back to the NFL, and he's talking about Milroe regressing, which is buzzword in the mybookie.ag chat room. They did not like that a couple of weeks ago, but people continue to say it.
Yeah, well, I mean, the scouting report right now.
Yeah, I know. Dan with us, courtesy of mybookie.ag, code next round. DeAndre Hopkins goes to Kansas City. Is this... I mean, it's not vintage DeAndre Hopkins, but is it still good enough DeAndre Hopkins that, I mean, this is just an unfair weapon for Patrick Mahomes to have?
I don't believe it's that unfair weapon. It's obviously an upgrade and a needed addition to their football team. He's still very good in the slot. He still has great feel for zone and a really good zone route runner. I think the biggest question mark is how comfortable Patrick will get to throwing to someone who's covered. DeAndre's not going to get open a ton versus man coverage. He really hasn't, but he's one of the best contested ball catchers we've ever seen. But that's because quarterbacks give him chances, and it's just different for Patrick. That takes time to get comfortable too. Like as a quarterback, you've got years, 10, 15, 20 years of not throwing to guys who are covered, and now he's going to have to get comfortable, trusting him with that ball. And I think it'll happen a little bit sooner in the red zone in regards, but that's the number one thing I'm watching is just how comfortable he gets making those kinds of throws.
The Bears have won 3 straight. I've got a feeling just based on their schedule coming up, they're about to really heat up. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but I think they're that one team. We talk about the NFC North, best division in football. The Bears were that one team that people really didn't talk about. And now with the way Caleb Williams is playing, I think the 3rd best QBR behind Lamar and Jerry Goff over the last month. Do you believe the Bears are for real?
Yeah, I do. I've always felt like they were going to play meaningful games in December, but if they play Washington with no Jaden Daniels, they're looking at realistically likely to win 4 in a row. You'd be sitting at 5 and Caleb in the offense they've played, his last 2 games when he's gotten really hot are Jacksonville and Carolina defensively, both really very poor defensive teams. So while he's really performed at a high level, it'll just, Washington a little bit of a tick up defensively, not like they're world beaters. And so, yeah, I think they're for real. Their defense is fantastic, and he's playing at just a much cleaner clip to sit at 5-2 and go, okay, there's 10 games left. Can they go 5-5? If that's the case, then you're looking at a playoff football team, which would be shocking because then I feel 4 teams in the North would get in, which would be unbelievable.
Robert Saleh, as an analyst with the Packers, does what for Green Bay?
Gives a vantage point of how they can not become predictable on offense, and that's the defensive perspective is trying to figure out tells. Are you telling me what you're going to try and do by your personnel or your formation or your motion or your situations? And to have his vantage point and just the way he looks at ball, it's going to allow Green Bay to constantly stay ahead of defenses and just figure out, okay, people need to understand just because a defense plays cover 3 doesn't mean everyone plays cover 3 the same way. I mean, there's 4, 5, 6 different ways teams will just play that one coverage. And so his understanding of well, they play cover 3 this way, and this is the best way to try to attack that certain cover 3, another kind of advantage for Green Bay.
Tua is back. This is where the Super Bowl run starts, Dan. Just remember I told you this. This is where the Super Bowl run begins.
Hot.
Yes, Tua is back, guys. Dan, thank you very much for the time. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the games.
Thanks, guys. You too.
All right, buddy. Take care. The MyBookie.ag people bring you Dan Orlovsky. That Alabama line, by the way, continues to climb there. It's up to 17 now. That's up 3.5 to 4 points from where you could find it yesterday, just on that availability report. And Alabama now a 17-point favorite over the Missouri Tigers. You can play that game, all the NFL games right there. MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round. That code next round, they double your initial deposit. You make your deposit, they double it with code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag, code next round.
Special night last night at trivia at Odie's because LT was there with Taylor and EG.
Yeah, Emily Grace, Taylor, because Brown and Will were both out.
Correct.
Filled in last night, did an outstanding job. The question last night was, let me think of this, which came first, Ryan Reynolds or the movie Rocky?
The movie Rocky, I remember, was 1976 because the bicentennial celebration was a big part of what was going on in the first fight. So the question would be Ryan Reynolds born before 1976.
I was born in 76. That makes you 48. So I'm going to say Ryan Reynolds is younger than 48.
I'm going to say Ryan Reynolds is 49 or 50. So I'm going to say Ryan Reynolds 1 year older than Rocky.
Ryan Reynolds celebrated his birthday yesterday, October 23rd, 1976. Rocky came out, would assume it was Thanksgiving weekend, November 26th of 1976. So Ryan Reynolds a little bit before.
Wow, virtual tie there, but that was a close one there. Yeah.
These are the things you learn at Odie's Team Trivia. We do that every Wednesday night. Come out, enjoy some great food. I know both EG and Taylor had some wraps last night with the delicious fries on the side. Ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Enjoy fall weather all weekend long. 2 locations, the original, the one we were at last night in Crestline. Newest location in Edgewood. Get in, see Will Haver and the great staff. It is Odie's Tavern.
Why it's not sustainable for Oregon State and Washington State the way things are right now for them. Scheduling is a problem. They announced yesterday their schedule next year. They will play each other in a home and home in the same season. Oregon State and Washington State will play each other twice.
New Mexico had to do that, and I can't remember. I think it was UConn maybe they played a home and home with when they were an independent.
And Oregon State will play a road game next year at Appalachian State.
New Mexico State and Liberty did it, right?
Yeah, that was it. New Mexico State and Liberty. That is a haul. Oregon State's going to Appy State.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is a haul.
It's a home and home contract, but App State doesn't have to go back to Corvallis until 2032.
Yeah, we'll see if that ever gets played.
We'll see if that game ever gets played. That's why I always do that. And do you guys remember, I don't think it's still on my cut sheet here. It is not. Kenny Dillingham was upset on Saturday about his kicker missed a couple of chippy field goals that sort of kept him from getting within striking distance in a loss this past weekend. And he sent it out in the postgame. If you are a student at Arizona State and want to try out, we're going to hold tryouts next week for kicker. I mean, he just threw his kicker under the bus. Just so happens, kid tries out yesterday. Chances are he's going to be the kicker going forward. His name is Nolan Krinsky. He's an aviation student. Nolan Krinsky, aviation student at Arizona State. He was a very heralded high school kicker who never got a shot anywhere. And he's continued to practice his last 2 years on soccer fields and everything by himself. In fact, he pulled a Dunaway. I used to trying to make the 7th grade basketball team. I've told this story once before.
I don't remember it. Let's go.
Trying to make the 7th grade basketball team at Thompson Middle School. Coach Dunlap was the 7th grade coach, and he drove my bus. And my bus had to drive past my stop, go down, turn a circle, and come back and pick me up on the way back. So I would sit out there every morning before tryouts.
And he'd watch you miss shot after shot.
No, I didn't have a goal. I was just sit there and be working on my handle, right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. To when he topped that hill, I'd be dribbling my red, white, and blue basketball.
Yeah.
Right? Then I'd start working it between the legs as he approached, and I'd roll it across the old Smoky Road into the yard there.
Yeah, I doubt it went that smooth.
Yeah. Hop on the bus, tryouts 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
I ended up being scorekeeper
I
all
think
year.
you saw your bracket punishment and said, man, I missed on that guy.
Ended up keeping score all year. I was
There you go.
hey, you're a good kid, man. You're not going to make the team. But you want to be scorekeeper? So I rode around with my buddies and I kept the scoreboard.
Neat story, kind of plagiarized from Mike Leach. I don't think it works out. Hopefully it does. The guy should have good nerves, though, if he's in aviation.
Well, yeah,
right?
I mean, I hope this doesn't overwhelm him, because one day he's going to have to land a plane, and that seems far dicier than making a field goal in a college game to me.
But to the point of my story, he has been kicking on the vacant soccer field next to the Arizona State practice field for the last 2 years of classes. While practice was going on, he would take his footballs and go out and kick and videotape him kicking 60-yarders over the soccer goalpost, but still going 60 yards and just booming kicks, and continue to glance over to see if anybody on the football field. He said he asked for a tryout 3 times and never did anything. Then before he got into a flight, he had a class right after the game. Jumped into his Cessna after he posted, "Hey, I've been kicking next to your practice field forever. I'd love a tryout." Got on his plane, got off the plane, turned his phone back on. Kenny Dillingham had followed him on Twitter and on Instagram, and in the DMs was the head of scouting setting up the tryout.
They play at Oklahoma State next week. They got a bye this week. It's an FS1 game, which probably means it'll be my sneaky good game of the week, and I think it will be now. I pray that comes down to a field goal. Would you love to see that situation?
Didn't Dabo have a grad student or something come out last
year against Florida State? Should have won the game.
Yep.
So
now they pulled the guy. I think he had gone to Paris or something. I think it was
there was some
on the
weird story
roster
there,
before. Took off. They called him back over.
You think Cam Ward's making any money at Miami?
Boy, he better be.
Yeah. Made even more yesterday. Signed an NIL deal with Adidas.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, it sounded like the kind of contract LT you get moving into the pros. This one won't be just a 1-year deal. This will stay with him.
Yeah, I would think it stays with him. It's funny, when we first heard NIL, you were like, I wonder how many car dealerships or, different local mom and pops these guys are going to be endorsing. When we were driving up to Knoxville, I saw Brew McCoy, shoulder to shoulder with their version of Hemp Hill, talking about, hey, hard to stop a train. But you just don't see a lot of those athletes doing that kind of NIL. But I think for Cam Ward, I think his future is extremely bright. He is going to be a first-rounder in May. And so, I would think that this deal follows him into his professional career.
What is interesting, am I wrong? Aren't they a Nike school?
Oh, I didn't.
No, I am wrong. They are an Adidas school.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. But a new NIL deal yesterday with Adidas, which probably carries him into his past Miami life there. Cam Ward, right now you're betting favorite for the Heisman, Dylan Gabriel, number 2.
Well, I think Ashton Jeanty will be on a national stage tomorrow night in their most difficult game remaining against UNLV. Jeanty goes 2+. I mean, Jeanty to me is the most explosive player I've seen in all of college football.
Usually a quarterback award, though.
Yeah.
Here's what makes it tough for a guy like Jeanty, because as Lance said, this is one of his biggest stages. They'll be playing a 9:30 CBS Sports Network game against UNLV, and it'll be probably a good game.
Yeah,
I think that'll be a good game. Whereas Cam Ward is going to play primetime ESPN against Miami in a quote-unquote rivalry game that everyone our age is like, oh, I used to love that game, so you'll watch a little bit of it. He'll have
7 touchdowns.
Well, no. He may. I was just going to say he'll have 3 or 4 times the audience in a crappy game than Jeanty will have in a good game. And that's what will hurt Jeanty in this.
I see what you're saying.
Cam Ward's just going to have more eyeballs.
He'll have a big game in front of more people.
That is right. And Jeanty could rush for 350 against UNLV, and fewer people are going to see it.
One more important question to these guys after I remind you that Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com on Highway 119, open for lunch right now. I talk about their tailgating, them catering, meetings and stuff. Don't just forget that it's a great destination location for lunch at 11 o'clock. And when you're around the office sitting there going, hey, Joe, where are we going for lunch today? I don't know. I'm tired of getting the same old burger. I'm tired of the same old food. Well, Joe, why don't we drive to Highway 119 in Alabaster? It's a short drive for a destination lunch location. That's what you get with Champy's Chicken. Same thing at dinner. If you're in the area, make sure you go by and see Sterling and the crew. The great Southern fried chicken that's brined overnight and cooked to order. A lot of places is not cooked to order. He doesn't drop that chicken until it's time to cook it for you, and it comes out piping hot. You can taste the difference. Highway 119 in Alabaster. It's champyschicken.com. Here's the question that's on everybody's mind. It's been talked about all week long. The SEC doesn't really want us to keep talking about it, but the reversal of the call in College Station. In Austin this past week between Georgia and Texas. Dan Wetzel writes a story yesterday. Is it more important to get the call right are to follow procedure. So there's your options.
Yeah.
Get the call right or follow the procedures that you're supposed to follow in officiating.
You'd like to have both.
Yeah.
I think it is important to get the call right, but you can't ignore procedure to do it. I think it is most important to follow procedure.
I would agree with you. It's like, throw the flag or throw the bag just in case you think it's a turnover, and
Let the play go.
We'll let replay go.
Yeah. That was the rule, right? That I was
my
told.
my fear,
one officiating,
though,
they said don't blow the whistle.
Yeah,
because
if you don't know 100%
that's
is
the
a
one
fumble.
thing I
Yeah.
can't correct is you blowing
That's
that
right.
whistle.
But my fear is if it's always about just getting the call right, which I agree with you. I mean, the best of both worlds would be to get both. But if you don't get the call right, then you know that you can hear everybody throwing shit and look up at the big screen and be like, you know what, let's reverse the call. Like, if you set that precedent, which some people believe they did Saturday night in Austin, I don't think they did, but you can't do that.
But if I'm Kirby, if there were a close call later in that game and the scoreboard clearly is showing they got it wrong, now you got to give me that benefit too. That's if you ignore procedure and just say, well, we just want to get the call right, then I've got to get that same treatment.
I think I'm correct about this. I know you can't pull out your tablet now on the sideline or your phone, which we've seen recently, and show the referee the replay that's happening.
15-yard penalty.
It's automatically a 15-yard penalty. I think when you start pointing at the big screen when you're arguing with the referee on the sideline or the white hat, I think they warn you, stop showing me up, stop pointing at the screen. We're not supposed to do that.
And I think what Kirby was saying when he was pointing at the screen is you guys looked at the screen and
You
so you got
guys
it wrong
looked.
on a non-reviewable play. That's what the whole – if this were a reviewable play, I could almost stomach them looking at the big screen because then all you got to do is go over and act like you're going through the review process, right?
Right.
And say, look, you put on that big headset and say, hey, we saw this on the video board. We have screwed this call up. If you can serve me up the same replay they just showed, I'll overturn it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I could stomach that. This was not a reviewable call. Pass interference is not reviewable. So if I'm Kirby and you call a hold later in the game and the scoreboard clearly shows the kid didn't hold, you got to overturn that for me now because we've ignored procedure.
Okay, so my question would be, I think it was LSU South Carolina this year that there was was it a scoop and score or an interception or something that went back to, was there a flag? I forget what it was. It was a big play.
The controversial play there was the quarterback got hit and they deemed
it was a penalty, a block.
Yeah, well, and what it was I think it was the personal foul where you hit the quarterback if he's quote unquote not in the play.
That's right. I
think it's what they called there. I don't think they called the blindside block. I think it was just a personal foul.
It wiped the score off.
It did wipe a score off, and it cost South Carolina the game. They probably beat LSU with that.
And I'm not sure that was an automatic that should have been called right there. I mean, you go back and look,
replay, it was tough.
You go back and look at it, and that was questionable. If South Carolina fans had started just raining it down, and you go back and you're seeing it replayed, maybe the same thing happens.
Yeah.
That would be a horrible precedent to set.
And then the SEC gets in your ear and says, "Hey guys, y'all botched that one. Just come on the microphone and say you botched it."
But see, apparently, according to Wetzel, Birmingham is not supposed to have direct contact with the head official, right?
That's what they say, yes.
Yeah, I just don't believe that's the case.
I don't think anybody believes that's the case.
No, I don't think so.
I think I don't understand why we don't want that. I would want as many people involved.
Maybe not straight to the on-field official, but Birmingham obviously has communication with the booth who has communication onto the field.
I did like what Klatt said, the one super challenge.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember that. I've got to be honest with you. I might have watched a Stallion play this year.
I watched a couple of games, and I remember them having it. I don't remember them having to use it.
Yeah.
I do remember Birmingham was beating somebody bad at the end of the year. Maybe it was the championship game, and it was
we're going to super challenge this whole game.
It was a super challenge. No, it was a super challenge.
Start at the kick.
A pass interference or something that wasn't reviewable that changed the game.
Like a super challenge on Alabama's offside. I think that was the exact example Klatt used. Was Tennessee was clearly offside, didn't get called, right? You super challenge that if you wanted to. Goes to review. It's obvious in review they missed the call. I mean, anybody that was watching that game could told you Tennessee was offsides on that play. Or if you didn't use it there, perhaps later in the game where Ryan Williams got held, you get a free first down on that one, right?
That's right.
So, I mean, I think I like that idea of a super challenge. And I'm not pretending they didn't miss calls on Alabama. I'm just using those two as an example. I mean, Tennessee could have used it on several plays, I'm sure. There was a face mask in the end zone, where the officials missed that on Alabama. So you could use a super challenge one time. I love that idea. Why
Me
not?
too.
I mean, what's the downside of that idea? And any play becomes reviewable. At that
I will
point.
tell you, a super challenge would cost somebody a game every week.
It would,
Yeah,
but,
because
if you
you're
get the call right.
I know, I get
that's
it.
right.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's what we're trying to do is to get the call right. And
Yeah.
and they ended up getting it right. And that was Wetzel's point. They thankfully they got it right in front of the largest audience to see college football this year. The problem is how they got to getting it right.
Yeah. And before Saints fans start 2018 NFC Championship, if you would have had your super challenge, they wouldn't have overturned that.
Are you kidding me?
They changed a rule.
Yeah. That is still mind-boggling that it ever got called and didn't get investigated. All right, Academy Sports, man, great new location.
Yes,
I
sir.
can't tell you, I had not been in Academy Sports probably in 18 months, and all of a sudden I stopped by there. It seems like twice a week now. So convenient and so many cool things to check out at Academy Sports.
The brand new 280 location is now open. Highway 280 for Academy Sports and Outdoors. The best in sports equipment, outdoor gear, apparel, and footwear from brands you love and all at everyday low prices. Wide selection of trusted brands like Nike, Stanley, Brooks, Carhartt, Blackstone, Yeti, Titleist, Shimano, and more. Academy Sports and Outdoors, brand new 280 location, right there in the old Best Buy and the Target Shopping Center. Trash is next.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Your new Academy Sports and Outdoors is now open in Birmingham with the best in sports equipment, outdoor gear, apparel, and footwear from the brands you love and all at low prices every day. Academy Sports and Outdoors carries a wide selection of trusted brands like Nike, Stanley, Brooks, Carhartt, Blackstone, Yeti, Titleist, Shimano, and more. Plus, you can shop online or on the app with free in-store pickup or enjoy free shipping to your home on purchases over $25. Your new Academy Sports and Outdoors is located at 4610 U.S. Highway 280 in Birmingham.
What's up, everybody? This is Mayor Woodfin, the mayor of the city of Birmingham. The McDonald's Magic City Classic, presented by Coca-Cola, returns to Legion Field October 26th. Watch the parade fill the streets of Birmingham. Turn up at the Coors Light tailgate party, enjoy the bands at halftime, and of course, bring that magic into the stadium. The best seats are selling fast. Tickets start at just $25. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at magiccityclassic.com.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Hey, you feel that? That's fall in the air. And New Balance Birmingham got your fresh fall pair to kick it during game time and sport from the sideline. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280 right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239 equal housing lender.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
CBSSports.com with the ranking of the college basketball coaches going into this year. Really interesting list. Nobody has a problem with Dan Hurley at number one, right?
Nope, not at all. Where's Bill Self?
Let me go down the list. Bill Self. Nobody has a problem with Bill Self at number two, right?
No. Dan Hurley won. He just won the championship. Bill Self 2. He's won a bunch of championships.
Kelvin Sampson at 3?
No
Anybody
problem.
got a problem with that?
I mean, it's he doesn't have the championship to show for it, but boy, they are good every single year. They're in contention for a 1 seed all the time now at Houston.
But yeah, you think about from Washington State to Oklahoma, Indiana. I mean, he's had success everywhere he goes.
Good everywhere he's been.
The Baylor coach, Scott Drew. Yep.
I don't have a problem with that. Nope. Good every year too.
Nate Oates, 5th in the country.
Give me who's behind him. Can you do that?
Behind them includes Tom Izzo at 8. I don't have 6 and 7 down. Izzo is at 8, Calipari at 9, Patino at 10, Pearl at 11.
Izzo, you're just saying, look, great history, current, it just hasn't matched up. I mean, that's what you got to argue with. And some with Cal, too.
I mean, Izzo does have a ton of Final Fours.
He does.
But, much to your point on Kelvin Sampson, your knock there is the championships. Izzo's only got 1.
Yeah, this is the old question when we do these in the offseason, Dunaway.
Right.
Am I starting a program today? I want Nate Oates. Am I getting the history? I'll take Tom Izzo, right? I mean, that's...
Yeah. I mean, right now.
Yeah. I mean,
when it's all said and done, I mean, hell, who knows? Oates might be the greatest of all time.
Yeah. Well, that's what they said of the beginning of the Nate Oates reign at the top is what they blurbed underneath it there. 3 of the final 3 Sweet 16s in the last 4 years in the Final Four appearance last year. Bruce was up from 13 to 11. He's on the rise, and CBS Sports says has a championship contender again this year. Basketball season now just a little over a week and a half away. And later today, possibly a big announcement involving another basketball game up in Huntsville with Memphis and Alabama coming up on Monday night.
How about that? Playing another preseason game on Monday night on the SEC Network Plus, Jim?
Yeah, looking forward.
Yeah, interesting.
Looking forward to see what happens with that game coming up. But right now it is time for Trash. It's brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Get your ass out of here. If you got license, you something.
I mean, I just want to fish, ma'am.
Oh, no, hell, you can't fish. You don't know how to fish. You don't even wear the right kind of clothes. You got damn stupid shoes on anyway. Where'd you get them ugly breeches? You asshole.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
She was on a roll. If you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process easy. And speaking of veterans, veteran founded right here in Birmingham. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Just to clean up, Painter 6, Few of Gonzaga 7th to finish that top 11 list there. The 2 I left out.
Yeah, I mean, and Few is more accomplished than Oates.
Yeah, he is. And you can't even argue that it has fallen off that much for Few yet, can you?
No.
So I'd probably have him in front of Oates. Painter's interesting just because, he's lost to a 16. They've been largely underperforming as a 1 until just last year.
Last couple of years with Edey.
Yeah.
Been different. Glad that guy's got.
Boy, somebody pointed out he fouled out in 15 minutes last night.
Had 5 points and was missing his free throws. Had 5 and 5 and just wasn't able to log any minutes. Did start last night for Memphis.
Somebody in the mybookie.ag chat room said, and I cannot verify this independently, but said the guy never fouled out at Purdue, not one time. And now he fouled out in 15 minutes of an NBA career.
I think that is true.
You think he got some preferential calls in college that he's not going to get in the pros?
20-year-old man that I assume we see right here on this screen, arrested last week for a Pensacola church burglary, is now facing 5 more church burglary charges. I think you are island worthy if you steal from the church.
Buddy, it's going to be hot down there.
Do they, they could go two ways on this one. This could be the Statue of Liberty burglar, just because of his hair. It's got a little very Statue of Liberty there. Or it could be, was it Medusa that had snakes?
Yep.
I mean, if you're stealing from the church, maybe there's some Medusa.
Do you know what
burglar.
the variety of snake was in Medusa's?
It was the viper.
Was not the viper.
The asp?
It was the asp.
With a hard P?
Pensacola police announced additional charges Tuesday for Jeremy Lang right there. They are 5 church burglary charges, 5 criminal mischief charges, 3 larceny charges, 1 motor vehicle burglary charge. Lang was first arrested last Tuesday on a charge of burglary, as well as charges of drug possession. Now, police say 7 church burglaries happened from September 24th to October 12th. Police also said in their Tuesday update that officers searched Lang's cell phone, finding internet searches of how to cut a shirt into a mask. Seems like you could just figure that out yourself.
I had to Google that?
Where do churches keep their money?
Yeah, that's a good question right there, because every church is exactly the same in where they give the money.
Do churches have safes?
Yes.
Was another one. Do churches have safes? And events where you raise money in Pensacola. He is being held without bond in Escambia County Jail.
Not that we're playing Meltdown Trivia or anything.
But
an asp is in the viper family. Just.
Do you know that, Melton? Do you know that to be accurate?
I do not know that to be accurate, but I'm going to say that Jim delivered that with a sense of confidence, and I'm going to give him the ruling.
Do not fall for that.
Okay.
I've seen that for years.
I'm reading it on Wikipedia. Vipera aspis is a viper species.
Yeah, but I also
commonly
think,
referred to as the asp.
But I also think a rattlesnake is considered a viper.
Oh, interesting.
I think most venomous snakes are considered vipers.
I was too general.
You're apparently so.
Okay, goldfish crackers, synonymous with hungry kids, right? If you ever worked at a restaurant, you would find goldfish crackers all smashed up on the carpet or the floor beneath you.
I always thought that in Cheerios, the wait staff had to hate that.
Terrible. Company is betting that a sophisticated name change could expand their audience. They are going to Chilean sea bass, tweaking its name for a limited time. More grown-up title. Campbell's company announced on Wednesday as part of a strategy to attract adults, reestablish its relevance amid a broader decline in snacking following pandemic peak. Despite rebranding its popular seafood menu item, the recipe and the appearance of the snack, they aren't changing. Goldfish explained in a press release that the, quote, much more adult name is to reinforce the goldfish crackers, not just for kids, and pointing to the growth of trends popularized by Gen Z and millennials on TikTok, such as making, quote, girl dinners.
Got to tell you, I like goldfish crackers. They don't have to name it Chilean sea bass for me. I'll eat goldfish crackers.
They're okay. I mean, I would rather have I hate the Cheez-It commercials where we're the cheesiest in the locker room.
Oh, you've only seen it for 15 years of college football.
I do think the Cheez-It is better because the goldfish is so hollow. Yeah.
It's airy. Just to clean up dead wood, we'll tell you about Grays in a second. Crotolinae is the rattlesnake family in the viper category of snakes. So yes, too, rattlesnake's also a viper. So viper, too general of an answer.
Covers a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like who won the football game this weekend? If I'd have said humans, that would have been also a correct answer. So I didn't know viper was so widespread.
Louisiana man remains in custody at the Lee County Detention Center after being charged with allegations of making a terrorist threat outside of an Opelika beauty store over the weekend.
Crazy is that he didn't open his mouth. He just walked in and that was a terrorist threat.
That guy was at a beauty store.
Timothy Lincoln, 42, Buras, Louisiana, accused of making a violent threat leading to evacuation of an Ulta beauty store.
Looked like he walked in and fell asleep at a 7-year-old camp that had colors and crayons and markers around.
That is are those tattoos, do we know? Those are not tattoos. Nobody tattoos their face that way.
Yeah, I don't have an answer.
It looks like it could be Sharpies.
That cannot be a tattoo.
So according to a complaint filed with the Lee County District Court, Lincoln was allegedly overheard by an Ulta employee while making a phone call outside of the business. During the call, Lincoln reportedly said, quote, "I'm going to blow this shit up." Now, the remark prompted an evacuation of store employees and customers. Opelika police were called to the scene, and Lincoln was taken into custody. His mugshot there obviously shows writings and markings in various colors. So,
is that TURD at the top? He wrote TURD at the top.
Like turd?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's T. It might be an I.
Yeah, I think the N's backwards, so I'm guessing he did it in the mirror and didn't adjust for the N.
It is INRI.
What is
I
that?
want to say that's like it's a prison tattoo you really shouldn't get.
Okay.
I want to say it's in that family.
Oh, Tyler.
Okay.
Well, okay, boy, I tell you what, after Tyler said what he just said, I was thinking this and I had to Google it. A lot of times, the Latin phrase INRI, you see it on the cross of Christ because it stands for Jesus of Nazareth, King of the Jews. So,
Oh, wow.
Tyler could be right.
And so that's
I could
a
be right.
crown of thorns around his forehead
Yeah,
there?
I think we're getting somewhere now.
Well, I hate to call his demise, but I don't think this guy is long for the world.
Yeah, and
I
then,
don't either.
And then the red is going to be the
That's
imagery of blood.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Give me what the Papa Smurf beard's for, though.
Yeah, I can't figure that one out. We got a little religion up top. I don't know what we got down low there.
He's a rough-looking character, man. You could light a match off that guy's shoulder.
I got to tell you, I'm a believer in Christ. This gentleman does not represent my beliefs.
You can see where it looked like turd though from where I'm sitting. Right?
I can, yes.
T-U-R-D.
Yeah.
If you just saw, if you are and you have a small vocabulary, you're just like you are turd. Okay.
But if you hit the pearly gates and this is the gentleman that welcomes you,
yeah, I'm gonna.
You're gonna think you're in the wrong place.
Yes,
right?
I am. Yes, but I am going to further believe God's grace is for everyone at that point. Yeah.
No, it's gonna be like you're sitting. You're about to get out at the ATM and people are walking by and you hear like 3 doors lock their doors. You're gonna hear the pearly gates. You're gonna hear going.
Peter just locked it.
So, top 10 soups by Ranker.com.
Soups?
It's getting a little colder, so making a good bowl of soup or maybe chili. I don't think chili is on this list. It's not. I'm doing chili tonight, by the way.
You consider chili a soup?
I do not.
Do you know what?
I
What
think
do you
it's
consider
standalone.
chili?
It's
It's
a
a standalone
standalone.
chili.
Yeah.
You know what Jennifer made for the first time Saturday?
Oh, the
Her
taco,
famous
the
taco
fiesta.
soup.
Mm.
Yeah, and it was so good during the football games.
We have the ingredients ready to go,
Yeah.
but it's got to be a certain temperature for us to do it.
We did it Saturday night during the late night game, or not the late night games, but the primetime games during Georgia, Texas. Little taco soup.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Chili for the Rams tonight.
I love a chili. I love just a basic tomato sometimes.
Are you going
We'll get to
vegetarian chili?
No. I don't really do the vegetarian chili anymore. I think Maddie's actually doing the chili tonight.
What meat does she use?
Just ground beef.
Ground beef? Okay.
Number 10 on the list, cheddar broccoli.
Nope.
Hard pass. Thank you.
I've had it.
Yep.
Not bad. But
Number 9, I like the next one, potato soup. It's a little much, but
me too. I like it like that too.
Do you like
bacon.
it? Yeah. You like it thick, a thick potato soup?
I do, and
Yeah.
I like.
Do you like chunks of potato in it?
I do like chunks of potato in it.
That's the way my mom used to make
I like
it. When
it thick and creamy. I like to drop some cheese and bacon. Those green onions. I'd leave out the sour cream. Let me ask you. You waited tables for a while. The few weeks I waited tables, probably the only time I ever had the broccoli, the first one there, the
cheddar broccoli.
Yeah, because it was one of the soups of the week or whatever, and I'd just do a quick scoop out and eat a bowl there before I'd start my shift. Never would have ordered that anywhere else, but since I scooped it
I
for
don't know
free
where you can get cheddar broccoli.
at a restaurant, I bet.
A can of Campbell's?
Boy,
Applebee's maybe?
Probably the supermarket.
Number 8, ramen. I much like chili, I think ramen is totally different than a soup.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, that shows you right there.
That is not soup. I don't know who calls it that.
I love ramen. That's before you throw it in the bowl, right?
No,
I
it's
see it
sitting
now.
in soup.
Yeah.
Or liquid. I don't guess it's soup.
Boy, they need more broth.
Number 7, chicken dumpling soup. I've never heard of it. I like
that sounds great,
chicken dumplings, but I've never heard of it as soup.
I have. It's
I've had
delicious.
that, yes.
So good.
Yes.
Number 6, clam chowder. I'm not a big fan.
You know,
I've had it.
I can't remember the last time I've had clam chowder, so I guess I can live my life without it because I can't tell you the last time I've had it.
I mean, if I'm hungry, I'll eat it, but no.
You remember that soup we ate in San Francisco, the place where you could see Alcatraz and it was served in a bread bowl? Was that?
Yeah. What kind of soup was that?
I think it was.
Was it not? It was beer cheese.
Beer cheese? Was
Oh,
that
I
it?
like beer cheese.
Yeah.
It's not on this list.
Yeah, beer cheese.
Yeah, that was
Because we
good.
talked about baby does.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Diplomat's got a good beer cheese.
Do they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Number 5 on the list, just plain chicken soup.
No, that does not look great.
Listen, I like chicken soup.
I like that broth.
Yeah, I don't like chicken noodle soup.
Interesting.
But see,
so you don't like the noodles?
But with the rice and the vegetables and stuff, Maggie makes a good homemade chicken soup.
How many we got left on the list?
We've got 4 more.
Four
That
more?
was number 5, chicken soup. Number 4, tomato soup. I'm a big fan too.
Me too.
Love
Do you like
some
basil in it?
I like a little basil.
You know what I don't like about tomato soup? It's a little too acidic for me. So, when you swallow it, it kind of burns my throat. Not the heat, but like the acidity of the tomato.
I usually cut mine with a couple of grilled cheeses.
Yeah, the grilled cheese with the tomato soup is as good as the grilled cheese with the chili.
Yeah, if I have tomato soup, I want to dip a grilled cheese in it and just eat it that way.
I don't do grilled cheese and chili. I do peanut butter and chili.
Number 3, French onion. I'm not a big fan.
Hate it.
Yeah.
How's this number 3?
It's one of those that looks good when they melt that cheese over
polarizing.
the top of it, but then when you eat it, you're like, God, this tastes like bathwater.
Yeah, steakhouse up the street that we used to go to all the time. I had a guy that would go with me, and he would get the French onion every time.
I think I meant dishwater and said bathwater melted. I saw you laugh at me, but I mean, it could taste like bathwater.
Number 2 is
imagine someone bathing in French onion soup.
If you're
now.
filthy, it tastes like bathwater.
As a kid, I wasn't a fan of number 2. I like it now if it's homemade and done well. It's
Cut that out.
The beef stew.
Love beef stew, especially if it's homemade. You're right.
I like big chunks of beef in it, though, like that.
Me
I don't
too.
want you to skimp on the beef.
Yeah, and I like the carrots cut like that,
Me
too.
too. It's almost a little watery pot roast is the way. A little juicier pot roast.
Few times I like carrots is in a beef stew.
Because you know me, if it doesn't have meat in it, it's just an appetizer at that point. It's not a meal. That makes it a meal right there when you put some beef in it.
Beef stew is good. What's number 1?
Number 1, it's synonymous with being sick. So I love it.
Chicken noodle.
But the only time I ever eat it is if I'm a little under the weather, and that is chicken noodle soup.
Yeah, now that looks good. That's a good looking chicken
Well,
noodle
it's got
soup.
a lot in it, Jim.
Yeah.
A lot of celery in there.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind celery, the carrots, those kind of noodles I like.
So, do you guys, yes or no, consider gumbo a soup, or is that its own category?
On that family, it should be in there.
Yeah, gumbo's got to be in there then if it's a soup.
You've got beef stew, and if you got chili and all that.
But I kind of separate gumbo like I do
it's
chili.
Like chili?
Yeah.
It's its own thing?
But chili didn't make it, but stew did, is what I'm seeing on this list, right?
Yeah, tortilla soup didn't make it.
Yeah, egg drop.
Do you like, not egg drop, but the stuff that they bring you at the Chinese restaurant?
Yeah, miso?
Miso soup or whatever.
Big
Did you like
fan.
that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But now, given
It's got tofu in the bottom.
Yeah, it does.
I'll even hit the tofu.
Yeah, I leave that tofu sitting in the cup. But given the choice, like if you say, do you want the soup or the salad at a Chinese restaurant?
Oh, salad, because you can't find that dressing anywhere else.
That dressing's awesome.
But the coconut soup, what is it? Coconut.
Yeah, that place right down the road right
yeah,
there. It's pretty good. Cheese coconut, basically, is what it is.
Oh, that's delicious.
It is. Gumbo, though, the problem with gumbo is it can be done so differently. Like, I like a lighter roux. I think you guys are a dark roux.
I'm dark roux.
Most people from Louisiana are dark roux, I think.
I like them both. The best gumbo I think I've ever had was that night when it was 100 degrees. We were down at Coastal.
Yep.
With our friends at the Floribama, and you're ordering the gumbo. It's 100, and then
I
as
think
soon as
I
I
said
started
those words,
eating,
didn't
you
I?
were like, "Hey, bring me a cup of that gumbo."
Yeah, it looked awful good. Now, do you like sausage gumbo or seafood gumbo more?
Yes,
sausage.
Yes,
Yes,
either
I'll
way.
take either one.
Yes.
But you like sausage more than seafood?
Yeah.
I'm just not a big seafood guy.
Yeah.
I had the sausage the other night at Walk-Ons. Yep.
I'll tell you what I like. Is
Good gumbo. I'd never had their gumbo before.
when they do seafood gumbo and throw some andouille sausage in there.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the best of both worlds right there.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah. I tell you what, our friends at Walk-Ons, man, you can buy $5 wings the other night. Basically, it's less than $1 a wing.
Really?
Yeah, and they've got some unbelievable flavors right now.
And I went to a different place last night, I'll tell you guys, because it ended up being really good. But I think for 10 wings, it was like $16.99.
Yeah.
I mean, wings have gotten expensive.
They really have.
Get it for less than 10. Get 10 for less than 10. And they have one it's not Mike's Honey, but it's sort of like that.
The walk-ons food. I did. We were
so
in there. What is today? Tuesday night. Got that tuna bowl. So freaking good.
I was there Tuesday night.
I was in there Monday night.
Yeah.
I saw your guy Mike Evans get hurt in there on the big screen, and I was like, that injury doesn't look that bad. And now
Somebody
he's-
after golf and had beers and wings, because that's the special wings night there. All right. That is Trash, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, whether it's your first home or final home, whether you have the big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages, mortgageright.com or 205-900-7200.
And the Magic City Classic is coming your way this week.
It is Saturday, Jimmy D. Exciting downtown Birmingham at Legion Field. It is the 83rd Alabama A&M Alabama State Clash and the #1 HBCU Classic in the country. And don't forget halftime, A&M's Marching Maroon and White, ASU's Mighty Marching Hornets will perform. You can see it for yourself. Tickets start at just $25 for general admission, $35 for reserved seating. MagicCityClassic.com, 2:30 Saturday. Legion Field, downtown Birmingham, MagicCityClassic.com.
Roman Harper, Dan Orlovsky, Jacob Hester on the show today. Get it wherever you get us podcasts. We appreciate you guys doing that. Like and subscribe and leave us a comment there. We enjoy that. If I asked you right now, top 3-4 quarterbacks in the SEC, how do you rank them?
Top 3?
3 or 4.
I would go Diego right now.
Is number 1 in the league to you?
Well, just for what he means to his team.
Yeah.
I think he is your first-team quarterback right now.
First-team SEC when they vote at the end of the year.
I think if they voted right now, I think he's got to be.
I mean, part of it is because he's at Vanderbilt.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there's any doubt.
I do think that impacts the vote, but I'm with Lance. He's probably your first team right now, Diego Pavia.
Yeah, because Jalen, the last couple of times we've seen him, he hasn't looked the same. Carson Beck has been awful. Quinn Ewers has been benched.
He's been benched. I mean, Nussmeier is a guy you go with, but as you said, well, no, actually, you were talking about the A&M quarterback whose name slips my mind for some reason. Connor Wegman. There's been moments of greatness for him. But then there's been moments. Jackson Dart has been. You gave him a C, I think, Dunaway for Jackson Dart just a couple of weeks ago.
Nussmeier in his last 6 games has the best QBR of any quarterbacks. Now I mentioned to Hester who they played. We'll see what he does on the road with a Mike Elko defense. How he looks this week.
One of the best pass defenses in all of college football.
Quinn Ewers got benched this past week. That's how he was playing. We've talked a lot about Jalen Milroe. By the way, how many starts do you think Jalen Milroe now has in his career?
17?
21 starts. 21 starts.
Yeah, Diego Pavia would be your. I mean, after Saturday night, if Nussmeier slays it on the road and they end up winning, Nussmeier might be that guy. But right now,
and Texas embarrasses Pavia potentially. I don't know if that'll happen.
Jackson Dart is who he is.
I thought quarterback play would be much better in this league, and one of the reasons that every team has got a blemish.
Carson Beck, as you said, multiple interception games now in 3 straight games to Alabama, Mississippi State, and Texas.
And
3, 2, and 3.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
It's almost like Mike Bobo and Kirby just need to sit him down, and it's going to be tough because he's one of these gunslingers, and he's playing to possibly be the first overall guy in May. But if he doesn't make mistakes, with the defense playing like it did this past weekend, Georgia, it's going to be really difficult to beat them.
It is, but again, Beck, 3 interceptions again in that game. It's just so puzzling how he's regressed in that aspect. I just remember, what was his numbers last year? How many interceptions did he throw all year?
6 for the year.
6 for the year last year?
Yeah, and 8 in the last 4 games.
That is really puzzling, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
most people think he's pressing, having to do more because they don't have the dominant run game and the dominant receivers, tighter windows to throw into.
He misses Bowers a lot, doesn't he? Not just Bowers, but also Ladd McConkey.
We talk about the targets that Ryan Williams got. Watching the Raiders this past weekend. Brock Bowers, every play they went to that guy.
I know.
Leads the league in receiving, I think. Gray's Tree Services. Everything we got wrong in the show, dead wood here. They can clean up your dead wood.
Yeah,
LT.
family owned and operated for 25 years right here in Birmingham. Experts in high-risk tree removals, pruning, soil health management to strengthen that trees and plants around your property. Had them out just a couple of months ago. Anything you need, call 205-281-6100. Scan that QR code or just visit graystree.com.
All right, so we get ready for the pick 3. Go to nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com for that. You can play all the way up until 11 a.m. on Saturday, till kick time on Saturday. Covercrimson.com, getting you ready. Maybe you find out why Alabama continues to grow in the point spread there off of the Missouri injuries. And Auburn trying to get a win at the Barn. TheBarnAuburn.com, TheBarnAuburn.com. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.